So, what is happening? What's happening? What's happening, y'all? It's me coming back at you again with another live hangout vid. Now, I'm gonna make this very, 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 very short, guys. But before I proceed, I want to make sure my sound levels are okay. So let me take a look into that. I'll take care of that. So that's my wall talking.
You know?
Yes. All right, y'all. Let me just go ahead and check my sound levels, make sure this is okay. I only got about an hour and a half on this, guys, or maybe about 2.5, I should say, because got a pretty busy Sunday. So I got some things I got to take care of. So let me make sure my sound levels are good, which they should be. Let's take a look here. Come on, come on. This is unusual. All right, let's see what's going on this side. Oh, where did it had come from? Oh well. Hey, what's up, Lord? Hey, yeah, little Sunday magic indeed, man. Yes. Wing King, what's up, man? Undertaker, yeah. Yeah, we're definitely gonna get into that one in a second. You know what, guys? Hold on, bear with me for a second, guys. I gotta step away just a quick moment. I'll be back. Sorry about that, y'all. I had to just back. I had to step away for a moment. So, anyways, what's up, Haplotype? What's going on, Wing King and Lord Flanneroy again? Yeah, I want to talk about a few things here. First things first, let's talk about the WBC Dillian White situation with Deontay Wilder. Now, Eddie Hearn has come out and he's stated that the Wilder and Fury 2 rematch will not happen under legal proceeding. Will not. Let me take that back. He said that will not allow that will. The Wilder and Fury 2 rematch that is penciled in for February of next year won't go forward, should not go forward, as he stated, is because of illegal binding procedures that would that should allow Dillian White to proceed with that fight with Wilder before Fury gets the rematch. Is because of the fact that Dillian was number one contender for how many days now? About over 500 days now, and although he has yet to fight in a final title eliminator, but it is what it is. But the fact is that he's also stated that the Rivas versus White fight will be the final elimination bout, which is set to take place in what? In 5 weeks, I believe. Let me get you the exact date. It's set to take place in July 20th. Yeah, it's about a little bit over 30 days, about a month ago, at the O2 Arena in London, and of course, it's for the vacant interim. It's for the vacant WBC interim title. So basically, it holds true to what Hearn is saying regarding that situation. So now that's if Dillian White gets past Oscar Rivas, because that's not going to be an easy fight. Let's be real. What's going on, Texan? What's good, man? I'm good. Just gonna hop on here for a couple hours and then head, about 2.5 hours and head up out of here. But so the thing is that the WBC does have a ruling and procedure that the Wilder, given the fact that he's defended his title against a mandatory, which is against Dominic Breazeale about 3-4 weeks ago, he's not due for another mandatory until next year. So he has 1 year to 1 year break before he defends it against another mandatory. Now, we all know the WBC can, and they will, under their discretion, can manipulate their bylaws and their bylaws and rules and standards, whatnot. So maybe there's a possibility that Hearn did talk to WBC and they were able to give him some leeway on this. Say, you know what, we'll make we'll decide the winner of Rivas versus White to become the number one mandatory, which should be the case because Fury did back out of the fight that was ordered by the WBC to fight Tyson Fury against Dillian White, I should say. And in that case, you should rightfully either install Dillian as a mandatory or allow him to fight Rivas to become the final eliminator, which is the right thing to do. I have no complaints there about that. Now, again, though, let's see, though. But even if he beats him, which is July 20th, then... But that just makes no sense, though, because how can Hearn come out and say that the Wilder Fury 2, which is penciled in for February of last year, that Dillian White should get his mandatory shot right after that? Right after he beats Rivas, if he beats Rivas, because that's still not, it's not in line with the 1 year gap. Within the 1 year span, because again, Wilder has 1 year to defend, 1 year before he could defend against another mandatory. In this case, that Dillian should get the shot right after July 20th of next year. That would make sense. So, well, Jalik, what's happening, man? I got to get you on here because we got to talk about a few things. And we got to talk about a few things offline as well. But anyhow, yeah, Hamed says, what's happening, Hamed? Goldberg, Undertaker, what the hell happened? I'm going to get to that one in a second. Amir, what's happening, man? I'm good, brother. I'm good. Wing King says the Taker's the greatest. Yeah. But anyways, Hearn is just crying over Heyman taking the belts. Yeah, that leads into my next point. It just seems to me that Eddie Hearn is getting desperate now. This is a sign of desperation coming from him now that he's coming out saying this, because now he doesn't have the heavyweight belts. They're all over at Heyman's stable, which is true. They're over Heyman's stable now, and he's panicking because he doesn't have any leverage in negotiations when it comes to these heavyweights. He doesn't. As far as the Ruiz situation, people are going out saying that he does have leverage according to the contract. First of all, we don't know what the terms in those contracts stipulate, number one. Number two, the champion does have a right to invoke the rematch clause. Okay, that is correct. Number three, now, well, the former champion, Anthony Joshua, I should say. Number three, Joshua does not get to dictate the terms of the situation, because I never heard of a former champion is allowed to dictate terms in a situation that he loses the belt. I never heard of that before. Maybe there have been some one-offs and situations like that, but the fact is that he knows and her knows and Joshua knows that they're not allowed to dictate most of the terms of this situation. So Andy Ruiz had, pretty much holds the cards in his arsenal, because Heyman is his biggest backer. Heyman himself is a lawyer. Heyman himself has a lot of money and a lot of funds that he can disperse to his own discretion when it comes to, negotiations. All right. So let's be real. So let me see. King Winking says that Hearn's back is in the corner. Exactly, because of this statement that he made about the White and Wilder situation. It seems like it's an act of desperation. So all I gotta say is good luck with that to Eddie. Eddie, good luck trying to get the WBC to put off the Wilder Fury 2 rematch. Good luck with that, because to me personally, I don't see that happening. But if it does, I won't complain, because I think Dillian White, Deontay Wilder should fight. And I think Dillian White needs to get his mouth shut, to be real, because he's been running his mouth off way too much. And another thing about Dillian, I know people are going out saying that, look, he's been number one for over 500 days. He should be rightfully mandatory. You know what? This is what I have to say about that. You're half right and half wrong there, because Dillian had several opportunities to fight for that mandatory position. He's turned them down, okay? He had a chance against Luis Ortiz twice. He turned them both down. I know that was for the second mandatory. I get that, all right? But Don Brazil actually offered to put up his first mandatory shot on the line against Dillian White a couple years ago or last year. He offered to do that last year. He offered to do it, but Dillian White elected to forgo that fight and fight Joseph Parker instead, a guy coming off a loss against Anthony Joshua. That's what Dillian did, all right? And he also had the opportunity to fight Joshua in the IBF eliminator against Kubrat Pulev, and he turned that down, okay? Obviously because he didn't want to go to Bulgaria. But the fact is that he had his opportunities to fight in final eliminators, and he didn't take it. So, yes, I understand in one instance that he has, had been, jerked around by the WBC. I get that. But in another instance that he's had opportunities to fight in final time eliminators, and he's turned them down. So he can't complain about being shafted for the most part. Dillian, that is. He can't. Lord Flannery says that, let's be real, Wilder versus Fury 2 is a bigger draw. Yeah, that's the big, dude, Flannery, let's be honest though, Wilder and Fury 2 will double the money they make and double the draw they made in the first fight, because people are waiting for that fight to happen. It should have happened, when Fury had the chance, it should have happened a few months ago if Fury had, or actually a month ago, if Fury had taken the rematch, but he didn't. So he's elected to take a couple tune-ups before they meet again. So obviously, we all agree that's a way bigger draw. I mean, look, Dillian does deserve his shot. I get that, but at the same time, he has backed out of several title eliminators. So, Dalik says that Dillian White versus Wilder is better than Wilder versus Ortiz. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. I think Wilder should just scratch the Ortiz rematch and fight either. I think he should fight Andy Ruiz. I prefer that fight, but we don't know if that's really, plausible at this point. But I think, Dillian White should be. I think that fight should happen, because Dillian's been running his mouth way too much. He's been crying and complaining. And in fact, as I stated that he's turned down several title eliminators, and yet he want to sit here and talk about he's being shafted to to the highest level. No, he's not. So let's be realistic. All right. Let's see. The Perfection. What's happened, Perfection? Perfection first says that Goldberg can't even perform his finisher anymore. He couldn't even use his tombstone. Well, yeah, so he felt like his legs was broken. You know what, though? Let me just say this. I think what happened, Goldberg had, did a blade job, which was really grotesque in a way. That really weakened him. And for a guy at his age, that will take a lot out of you. So he couldn't muster enough energy to continue that match to the capability that he normally could have done like 15 years ago or something like that. Because you notice when he came back about 2-3 years ago, Goldberg, that is, about 2 years ago, his matches were very, very, very short. Why? because at his age and the bulging muscles that he has, he doesn't have the stamina to or the endurance to compete in 20 to 30-minute matches. He doesn't have it. So so if you attribute to his terrible conditioning in a way at his age, given the fact that he had a blade job that night against the Undertaker in that match, of course he was going to botch some moves. But yeah, but let me get into that real quickly before I get back into boxing. The Perfection said that Wilder versus Fury is the biggest heavyweight fight. AJ just got axed out of him with losing. Well, that's true. He did. That's a fact. But Goldberg versus Undertaker, let me talk about that one, man. This match took place at the WWE Super Show in Saudi Arabia, which I don't understand from the life of me why they're even doing business with Saudi Arabia. But that's another point. But I get into another video. That's more political. But that match was so horrible to watch. I literally didn't want to watch the replay. I barely watched it the second time around, but after that, I couldn't watch it. Of course, the beginning of the match went okay. Goldberg hitting 2 spears, good bumps by the Undertaker at his age. Undertaker rose up like the dead man that he is, and then Goldberg tried to do an armbar, which he semi-botched the armbar on the Undertaker when he rolled him over. When Undertaker tried to choke slammed him, and Goldberg power out of it. All I can say is that when Goldberg tried to go for a third spear, Undertaker, outmaneuvered him and got out of the way, and then, hit his head on the turnbuckle, and that's when the bleeding and the blade job happened. Okay, and it was grotesque to the point that I just said to myself, I don't think Goldberg is going to really finish this match very strong based off the bleeding, because he was bleeding profusely. And then the botches come in, you know what I mean? First, Undertaker tried to do Goldberg tried to do the jackhammer, and then when he tried to jackhammer, he literally dropped Taker on his head before he could execute it. And then I was like, oh my God, that was bad. Really, 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 really. Of course, it was real blood, Ahmed. The blood was real. Obviously, it was very real. He botched the jackhammer. Then then next he tried to reverse the tombstone on the Undertaker, and that was one of the horrible botches I ever seen. Probably the worst botch than the jackhammer botch. And then Undertaker decided to finish the match with the choke slam. When he gave Goldberg the choke slam, he barely got up off his feet. It reminded me of the match that Taker had against Hulk Hogan back in about 17 years ago at Judgment Day, when Hogan was the champion at the time. And it was so bad. If you look at the Undertaker's face, man, the Undertaker had the face of disgust, man. It was just like his face of disappointment and frustration was written all over it, because that match should not have happened. I'm being honest with you. I gave it a chance, but it should have not happened at this point. It should have happened 15 years ago when Goldberg was with the company at the time and during his prime. So it just goes to show that how desperate the company or the shape they're in right now, given Vince McMahon, that he's still filtering things. He's still running the company from, in the shadows to a degree. Kind of like how Barry Hearn is still running Matchroom in the shadows to a degree as well. So Vince just can't let it go, because if you have two guys like the Undertaker and Goldberg who are way past their best, they're old as shit. Let's be real, they're old as hell. They have too many injuries. Although Taker suffered more injuries than Goldberg, there's no way. Why would you have these guys main event a Super Show in Saudi Arabia? I mean, this just to show how badly the shape the WWE is right now. Then you have Triple H versus Randy Orton in a 20+ minute match. For fucking God's sakes, why did you have those guys perform for 20 to 25 minutes? That match was like, I mean, it was not bad, but again, it's like, come on, seriously. The Perfection says that I seriously think that Sting would have put up a better performance even at his age. Yeah, Sting can still go at his age, but of course that neck injury really kind of, with Seth Rollins, kind of held things back. So I'm not sure now, but Seth Rollins match, yeah, Sting would have did a much better job. Definitely would have did a much better job in that ring against Taker rather than Goldberg. Much better job. So yeah, man. So that was terrible to watch. And WWE really need to get that together now, because now you have AEW that's taking the limelight away from them now to some degree. They're really going to have to compete, and they're going to have to put their young guys over. What I really think they need to do is restructuring their writing team. And I don't want to put the 100% blame on their writing crew. I think Vince McMahon is a guy, like I mentioned, he's the one who filters all this stuff in the scripts and the storylines and the wrestlers' gimmicks and all this stuff. He needs to step aside. He got to let this go because his ideas have ran out. They're dry. This is not the 1990s, early 90s. This is not the 80s or even the mid 90s. That day is gone, bro. Vince has got to let it go. He's got to let this go. He's got to let his son-in-law run the company. Triple H knows what he's doing. Let him run the company, and then things will turn around. Real talk, because at this point they're end up like they're going down the path of WCW with the finger poke of doom situation that ended that company. That's what it led to all with Hogan and Nash in there. We all remember that infamous moment. So hey, this is supposed to be a collab. I know these style, man. My bad, dude. I was very busy Saturday morning, so we'll jump on here. We'll discuss in a minute, man. I'm gonna send you a link. But I'll send you guys a link. But let me just say, Jalik says that. Let me go back to boxing for a minute, and we'll get back to the Goldberg thing in the Taker match. Jalik says that. We already said that. Jalik says that undisputed Wilder versus Ruiz in Cowboy Stadium is the biggest fight in boxing. You know what? Potentially it can be, especially if the fight takes place on Cinco de Mayo or even this fall, because this fall is Mexican Independence holiday in September, so. Or you say, let's do a collab later. I'm out with a girl. All right, cool. We'll do it later, D-Style. We'll do it. Definitely do it later. Yeah, you gotta do that, man, because my wife doesn't like me being on here all the time. So I totally I totally know where you're coming from, bro. You gotta give her, your wives and your girlfriends are far more important than the YouTube stuff. You know what I'm saying? So Bakari King says that Bakari King says that, shaking my head, that match should have happened in early 2000s. These guys are way past their primes. Exactly, man. It was just atrocious to watch that match. Atrocious. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And again, it goes to the fact that the WWE is in terrible shape. If you have two old guys like that, way out of their primes, main eventing a super show, for God's sakes. Okay? Why? Oh my God. I mean, yeah, it was just bad, man. I mean, let's be real. WWE's definitely going to want to try to filter that match. They definitely don't. They're going to try to center it the best way they can, but there's no way it's going to happen. No way it's going to happen. So, yeah. Yeah, Hamed says they both look shot to pieces. Yeah, they both are. I mean, look at Taker. Taker, particularly of all of them. The dude has had so many fucking surgeries. It was like no tomorrow. Goldberg, in fairness, hasn't had that many surgeries, but at the same time, given the fact that he's got those big bulging muscles for his age, he's in incredible shape, but his endurance is totally bad. As I mentioned, when he came back 2 years ago, his matches were very, very short because of the fact that they know he cannot perform in 20, 30-minute matches. He can't do it. So, yeah. So C says, what's up, C? C says that, Dan, do you think that Ruiz can beat AJ in a rematch? Yep. I'm definitely picking Ruiz to win that fight. And I definitely think that rematch is a bad idea for AJ right now. Terrible idea. Terrible idea. But we'll get into that in a second. I'm definitely favoring Ruiz to win that fight. Bakari says that Vince just doesn't give a damn. As long as he's making money, he'll do it. Well, he better give a damn now, because AEW is taking up. Well, pretty much it's still in the spotlight now. And it seems like the more they put on matches like this, the more they're steering fans away from the product and going over to AEW. Let's be real. Let's be real. So he better give a damn, Bakari. Real talk. He better give a damn. Dan says, I never knew you were a wrestling fan. Respect, bro. I missed the Attitude Era. After I stopped watching after WrestleMania 20. Now and again. Yeah. Well, I grew up. I've been around since the 80s, man. I've been watching it since the Randy Savage's days and the Hulk Hogan days, the Rick Rude days. God rest Rick Rude. God rest their souls. Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. They all passed away. Miss Elizabeth and Sensational Sherry. Rick Rude, Randy Savage, Dusty Rhodes. Who else in there? Roddy Piper. Those guys, man, back in the day. Yeah, they all are gone, man. They would be missed, man. That's the kind of era that I grew up watching. Of course, the Attitude Era, that's when I was a teenager. Yeah, the Attitude Era was definitely the shit back in the day, man. The Attitude Era. You couldn't get anything better than the Attitude Era. But AEW has pretty much revived that Attitude Era if you think about it. They did. And it seems to me now that WWE is going to have to go back in that direction. They're going to have to do it. So if they stand a chance against AEW, let's be fair though. AEW is not they're not going to really take out WWE. I'll be fair to them because WWE is too big and too powerful at this point. But what I am saying is that the further they continue to put on matches like Goldberg versus Undertaker and dumbass storylines, the further they're going to turn fans off to go over to AEW because that's exactly what happened to WCW years ago when they were beating WWE in ratings up to the core. And they seemed at the time they were untouchable until they kept fucking up the storylines. They kept prolonging it. Like, for example, the NWO storyline, for example. I think that storyline went way too long than it should. And all of a sudden, they starting to split this faction, which made no goddamn sense. Like, they had the Wolf Pack, red and black. And then you had the, white and black with Hogan running. Then you had Nash running the red and black. It just didn't make any sense, man. It just didn't. So let's talk about boxing real quickly. Oh, Tommy boy. What's up, Tommy? I forgot to mention Tommy Temper. What's happening, man? Big up to you, brother. Lord Flanneroy says, look, the pressure will be on AJ immensely because not only does he have to beat Ruiz, in order to change the narrative, he needs to crush him, and I don't believe he can do it. Yeah, you know what, Flanneroy, let me just be honest with you. Even if Joshua does win the rematch, which he could possibly do, I don't see him trying to engage with Ruiz. I don't see him training to knock him out. I just don't see him doing that. I think what they're gonna try to do is they're gonna box their way into victory. Even if they put up a boring performance, as long as they can get the title back, that's all they need to do. I just don't see him trying to do it because if he trades with Ruiz, that's a bad mistake. He can't do it. He's gonna have to box on the back foot, and he's gonna have to try to box his way to victory. But the only thing I'm concerned about is his in cardio and his conditioning because Joshua does not have the best conditioning to go 12 rounds. He just doesn't do it. He will gas out in the second to third round, and that's what I see happening, and Ruiz is going to catch up to him. That's going to be a problem. Ruiz will make him work. He will do it. Even if Ruiz is going to lose some couple rounds here and there, he's going to make Joshua work. Yeah, I agree. Now that Ruiz is going to have a full training camp this time, and who knows, he could get to Joshua now. So he believes more than ever. Yeah, Ruiz is definitely going to have a full training camp now. So this is going to be very, very, very dangerous fight for Joshua to get into. I just don't think he should be taking a immediate rematch. I just don't think honestly don't believe it's wise to do it right now, to be real. I just don't think he will do it. Yeah, Vince does need to step down, Bakari. I agree. Mr. Doc, what's happening, man? He says, yep, WWE has to have a WCW to pressure them into improving or they will remain complacent. Yeah, I agree. Now that AEW is in the market now, and they got that, by the way, AEW's got the deal with TNT, with Turner. So now they'll be debuting and they'll do weekly shows on prime time. Well, not saying prime time, but yeah, they'll be doing weekly shows on Tuesdays, not on Monday. So that way they can't compete with WWE on that time slot. But now they're going to be having their own show on TV, weekly shows on TNT. That's going to be a problem for WWE, a big problem. That's going to debut this fall. Let me see. The Texas says that, yeah, I'll definitely go down to Ruiz versus Wilder for Undisputed in Texas if it happens. I'll definitely be there. He also says that I remember I picked AJ on points to win the first time, but this time around I see it as well for him to get to victory. Yeah, it's possible, but again, the problem is that AJ, and we got to talk about this too in the chat. Let me bring the guys in here. We got to discuss this further. Bakari says, I rewatched the fight. I looked at AJ's face. It seems like he was happy that he lost. I was like, what the hell? Yeah, it seems like he was relieved that he lost that fight. And then he was praying at the end of the fight. He was on his knees, and when Michael Buffer announced the Andy Ruiz as the winner, he was praying to Allah. And I didn't know AJ was Muslim, but I don't know if he did it out of praise, saying, "Hey, thank God for helping me get through the fight without that I'm still here," or something like that. But I don't know, man. It seems weird. He seemed very happy, and I think it's because of the fact that he doesn't have the pressure of being champion. That's a problem. That's why he feels relieved. But now it's more pressure for him to get the belts back, in my view, because now Eddie Hearn is trying to throw him back in there It went 4 or 5 months down the road. That, to me, that's a terrible mistake because one, Joshua hasn't left New York yet. You know why he hasn't left yet? It's been over a week now. You know why? Because from the report, from the early reports has indicated, doctors have confirmed that he suffered another concussion and that his head injury is so serious to the point that they will not allow him to fly back to the UK right now. They advise him that he can't do it. So he's going to have to take some time off. He's going to have to heal for a moment before he goes back to the UK. Now, as far as the time off is concerned, they haven't stated, I haven't heard anything whether they recommend him taking time off from fighting, which I think they should have done. But I guess Eddie Hearn somehow is trying to rule the doctor's decision and allow him to go back in there against Ruiz this fall, which is a terrible move in my view, because again, he sustained a serious concussion, which is released to a serious head injury to the point that if he goes back in there and fights Ruiz, it takes those shots again. Who knows what he ends up to be? He could end up like Gerald McClellan. I said that in one of my prior videos. He could end up like Gerald McClellan or Donna Stevenson. I'm just being real. But anyways, let me send this link to the guys, man, and get them in here. Let me do that real quickly. Let me get Jalik in here too. Hey, Jalik, if you're still watching, man, send me your email, man. We got it. I'm gonna get you in here. Or Hamed, do me a favor. If you can, add Jalik onto the chat, man. If you can. I want to get him in here. Let's see. Oh yeah, I got an email. All right, before I do that, let me step away, guys. I'm gonna get my charger before this battery runs out. All right, guys, I'm back. All right, so let's see. The perfection says, Hearn's acting like it's simple to do what these boxers do. You put your life on the line each time you're out there. Even Wilder says it. Yeah, exactly. It just like, again, Eddie's very desperate right now because he's under a lot of pressure. He's panicking because if you think about it, and McGregor, what's up? Shout out to McGregor in the chat on Rival Boxing Talk, and Hamed could attest to this as well. Is that Eddie Hearn and the Hearns, I should say, they built their entire stable in their promotional company outfit, I should say. They've pretty much revolved their whole matchroom success around Anthony Joshua in recent years. If you think about it, who else do they have that can make money for them? I mean, Dillian White to some degree, yes, but he doesn't make as much money as Joshua does. Joshua, in my view, is probably the most successful fighter they ever had on their stable. Financially, they have. Let's put the resume aside. Yes, Joshua has a very good resume, but we're talking about success from a financial standpoint. He's their most successful cash cow they've ever had. For him to go down like that, for him to lose, they're very, very desperate because if he does not fight anytime soon, they're going to see their money and they're going to see their, their financial success go down the drain. Let's be real. And it's already taken a hit already, but at the same time, I'm telling you right now, this is they should just be wise that, you know what, we're taking a hit. But if your investors are pressuring you, then you need to tell your investors like DAZN, whoever, John Skipper and those people, and Adam Smith of Sky Sports. You need to go back to them and you need to tell them that, you know what, my fighter is really, needs to take some time off, or his health is more important. Once he gets back into, once he's ready, we should take a beast about a year or so, then we'll get him back in here against Ruiz. But that's if Ruiz can keep his titles. I think that's what they're worried about, because if Ruiz does lose his titles to Wilder per se, it makes it more difficult for them to try to get the fight. But at the same time, I have reason to believe that they already had that fight scheduled for next year anyway. But Joshua, I'm saying Joshua. Wilder did say himself that he still fight Joshua regardless anyway, so that's still good news. you know, to an extent. But let me get these guys in here real quickly. All right. Oh yeah, shout out. By the way, RIP to Bushwick Bill, man, of the Ghetto Boys, man. He died. He passed away. I think today or yesterday. He was at 52. So my condolences to him and his family. You know what I'm saying? The Ghetto Boys, man, classic rap duo, you know, rap group over in Houston. Was, you know, Scarface was part of that group and Willie D. Yeah, shout out to those guys, man. But rest in peace to Bushwick Bill, man. Mind playing tricks on me. Man, that's a classic, man.
What's up, Dan?
Mind playing tricks on me.
What's up, Dan, the man?
And that's an old classic, 1991, man. Jeez.
Dan, the man?
But anyhow, let's see here. I put a link in there. Yeah, so Jalik, yeah, if you listen to, man, let me know, man. I'll send you a link.
Hello?
Let me see. What's up, Phil? Phil's in the house. H-Town, yeah, H-Town legend. Yeah, he is, man. Bushwick Bill and the Ghetto Boys, man. They're legends, man. Real talk. And then actually, they are the ones who put this, you know, the South on the map when it comes to hip hop. They're the ones who did it. All right, straight talk. They are the ones who did it. Not Lil Wayne, not him, not Juvenile. No. I can't hear EJ. You know, I gotta go another way. Hold up, EJ. Yeah. Hold up, brother. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go on to another way. Give me a second.
Okay.
I didn't even know you got him.
Say, bro. It was me. Oh yeah, he can't hear me. That's what I was gonna say, but I thought it was me. You was scared on people. Thanks for that, Phil. Yo, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. What's up, man?
Yeah. No, you know what? Yeah, after reevaluating the whole thing, yeah, I think I took it more serious than it was. Yeah, AJ's fine, innit? I did Eddie Hunt video. And it's just like Joshua just got beat, man. I think he took his eye off the ball. You know, I talked to Mr. this year in the week as well. Jonathan Banks is gonna hit me up at some point. Another hit me up to talk to him about, you know, what's going on coaching wise and what's going on with him and Triple G and so forth. But I think I took it too far. I think AJ's fine. I think the reason they're in New York, you know, it's a holiday. Yeah. Stay in New York, it's nice. There's no reason to come back as well. And you're right, you can maybe get a stick and stay away from, you know, in New York, stay away in New York and build their brand. Now, I think that's what they were going to do anyway. I think they planned to do it anyway. I think they planned to stay in New York and they were going to try and make the Wilder fight. So I think that's probably what they were trying to do. That's probably why they're still there. Obviously, the plan hasn't gone that way. And also, you know, let's get the rematch secure, because what's the point of coming back to England until the rematch is secure? So Joshua's staying there. I'm speculating, by the way. This is not a fact, yeah? Stay there, speculate, make sure the rematch is there. Another thing as well, reason why I think they're there is so they can sort out a better training camp. You get me? Sort out a better training camp, sort out better systems. When they do come back, yeah, things are fine. So that's another reason as well. And also secure just the American market there. You know what I mean? Eddie Hunt probably one of the best promoters in the world. He's working hard on trying to secure certain things to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Obviously, you got the zone. Every time AJ does a fight-by-fight deal, securing that deal. So there's no reason for him to come back. And I think he's got other fights in the States as well. So that's what I reckon. Right. I think Joshua's fine. Honestly, I think Joshua's fine. I think initially when we watched it was worrying. And then to be fair, when we saw Mike Tyson knocked out by Buster, that was worrying as well. I mean, it's like, bro, this guy's on the feet. He was getting banged up all around, and he definitely did come back and done his thing. So there is time. Can he beat Ruiz? Yeah, he could beat Ruiz, but it depends how much does he want it, and that's what it will come down to. You're right. If he gets hit in the head, like any boxer, that you're right. You know, he could have that, but that's the part of the game that they sign up for. Eddie Hearn is definitely going like he wants it more than Joshua, and then he got to the point. He when he went to see Joshua, because I don't want to see Joshua smiling and being the thing. And Eddie Hearn goes, look, when I left Joshua, you know, I made sure that he understood how serious it, because Joshua's a naturally smiley guy. A lot of people saying Joshua for the first time and say, why is he smart? That's how his character is. He's a night, you know, even if he won the fight, his demeanor would be the same.
Right.
You know, for other people who used to fight, we're like, why is he not like this? Why is he not like that? You know, but that's who he is. You know, you can't change the makeup of who you are. That's what Joshua's gonna be. You know, I just got a picture. There's a recent picture I've just put up. Yeah, Joshua's in New York. He's cycling around and he's having fun. Joshua's a big kid. So I initially, my reports of or when we watched, to me, is that I was really concerned. He needs to change trainer. Let's be real. Changing trainer, right? In the way it is, I think to myself, like, was the trainer saying the wrong things? I don't think he was. Did AJ work to the game plan? He did, but I think one thing he did, he went into the kill earlier than he should have. Yeah, AJ was on the back foot trying to figure him out. When AJ hit him down, AJ definitely got the power to knock him down, but AJ rushed in there. Why are we trying to fight him inside? He got caught and he never really recovered. And he got hit when he was going down. Ruiz hit him on the top of the head, which happens. It's just a part of boxing, and he never recovered. And that's what happens in a knockdown, you know. And that's more or less just what happened in the fight. I mean, I try to put more on it, like just
EJ.
But I reckon that's what happened. Go ahead.
I got a question, EJ.
What's up, Doc? How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. If the fight's good, I don't know when they said the fight they're aiming for it, but it's like what, 3-4 months out, maybe.
Yeah.
Couldn't that extra travel even kind of work against you on that short of a turnaround? You know, the jet lag and everything. Isn't it better to just stay where you are, like you're saying, for that too?
Hey, you know what? We don't even know, because I think Dad was saying that AJ Dad was saying he was in a house while AJ was in a hotel. This is what I'm going to say. So yeah, I think if you're trying to get the heavyweight championship, it behooves you. If you're going to fight back in the States, which everyone hopes he does, because if you come back to England like, oh, Joshua's running, so I think Joshua knows that he needs to fight in the States. Because remember, they come to conquer the States, they haven't done it, so that's another goal. And if you think about when Joshua's fighting, his goal was to fight Wilder. Now his goal is to get his belts back. You're right, Doc. I think they're trying to secure a certain place where they can train and get things right and get things organized. If you're going to go back to beat Ruiz, right, there's no point leaving the States until all that's sorted, everything's settled. This is where you're going to train. This is where you're going to have this, where you're going to that. We're going to arrive here. Everything's going to be perfect. We're going to have a great
bunker. You got a bunker mentality, isn't it?
Well, let me ask you guys this question. I'm going to challenge you on this one, EJ and Doc. Whoever could jump in, Hamed to whoever. My question is, if Eddie Hearn is trying to pencil this in for November, December, don't you think that's not enough time to prepare for especially taking a beating like that?
Yeah.
I'll let EJ answer that.
I think it is, because the thing is, let's be real, right? Yeah, he got beat up and knocked down, and it's kind of thing. But it's like, you know, that happens in boxing. You know, normally in boxing, right? This is sparring, right? A guy gets knocked out. Usually he's out for a month. So let's say a fighter gets knocked out normally in England, you can't fight for at least a month, and then after that you have to get doctors' checks, so forth. So this is like what, December? Let's say December. I'm looking at December, right? Christmas time. So ample time for him to recover, do what he needs to do. I think it's I mean, we look at Joshua and the way he got knocked out, it was worrying. But let me remind you, when Wilder got hit by Ortiz, it was similar, and he got clipped by Brazil, similar. But it's just that them guys could finish him off. And even Fury, he got clipped and he went down. So all these guys in that division, they're all suspect, even Dillian White against Parker. Look here, think about it. Now what I'm saying now, all these guys got clipped because the other guy didn't finish them off. Joshua got a guy who could finish them off, so they can all recover. Bounce, as long as you've got ample time, training, get your right. I think fine, and I think you staying in America is good. I think to be fair, I think that's very good, because in certain parts in America who don't even know who he is. In England, it's like, yo, what happened? Yo, I'm telling you, you come back here, they're gonna be on it, bro. It's just going on and on. So what you do, you come back when it's all quiet, and come back when it's quiet. You know what I mean? Keep your head down. You know what I mean? And next, you know, he emerges. Oh, the rematch is done. Next, you see Josh at the press conference. It's all business. I'm not joking around. I'm not giving Ruiz respect, but I'm coming to get my belts back. And you see a different Joshua, and he gets his belt back, and then Joshua can come back to home. I think he probably said, "I'm not going home until I get my belts back." I think.
Fair enough. I mean, that's good speculation. But I would say this, though. To be fair, though, Joshua doesn't recover as well compared to those guys. They have very good recuperative powers. So
I think that's a fair point. That's a fair point. EJ, you tell me, because I'm just a fan, right?
Yeah.
I done some martial arts, but I'm not a boxer. I don't want to predict. I've always heard and been told that one of the times you're most vulnerable is when you go for the kill.
Yes, that's right. That's right. That's what I'm saying to you. Doc, on the Dan, on the road, other guys they faced, yeah, they didn't have the hand speed and the recover because remember Ruiz just got knocked down himself. I mean, people tend to forget that, you know. He got himself, and the way he came back, his reaction to him being knocked down is even startling itself. I mean, how many people get knocked down by Josh? I mean, Joshua must be right. The way that guy came back fighting, and Joshua went right into the wheelhouse. Instead of Joshua knocking him down and then like giving little fakes and taking his time, Joshua went right in there to try and stop him, and he got caught. Right? Wilder did the same thing against Ortiz, and people say, "Ugly, the referee stopped the fight or the referee gave him time." What I'm trying to say to you is that, Danny, is that Ruiz is the type of guy, and if the way he throws that many trains like that, is that you get caught in that wheelhouse, you're not recovering. And the clip on the head. No one's recovering from Ruiz, and that's what. Therefore, I say
you just hit on a really good point. I feel like some people are overlooking too. Ruiz showed tremendous mental toughness and unflappableness. You know what I mean? No panic.
Let me
that's
say
the
that
term I've been using. She didn't panic at all.
Yeah, let me add to that real quickly. Good point. And then one thing I think would kind of startle Joshua from a mental standpoint is that he hit Ruiz in the round 4 and round 5 and round 7 with the same hook that put him down in the 3rd round. And Ruiz didn't go down. And I think that shocked Joshua. I think that caught him mentally. He's like, God damn, this dude, I already hit this dude with the same shot. He's still not. Hit him with the same shot in those rounds. And that would cut to Joshua mentally. I think from that point he knew from his mind. Like,
Ruiz, again, that's Ruiz. Also, you got to give, I mean, you're not wrong, but you got to give some credit to Ruiz too for, again, the mental focus, remaining poker face, you know what I mean, and all that stuff. Because that's a big part of the game.
I think what people are missing out is, what's up, Dan? EJ. What's up, Dan? I'm just going to say, AJ burnt up a lot of energy mentally. Like, I don't know if it was the pressure, or even someone made a good point. I think it's Dwyer that, you know, when he's backing up, he uses up a lot of mental energy because he's not really used. He can't fight on the back foot, and he's not really used to being on the back foot. And when he was getting backed up, he's overthinking, and that also, I think, mentally gassed him out as well.
Just controlling. That's what surprised me was his inability to control range against Ruiz.
Well, and another thing too that EJ you point out too, Ruiz was actually parrying off a lot of his shots too. I saw that in the beginning of the 6th
parrying
round.
the jab. He was slapping the jab away.
I told you, that's the stuff. I'm telling you, when you see the thing is, you gotta understand. I'm amateur coach. When your fighter is throwing punches to land to hit the body in the head, right, and the other guy is parrying, it's frustrating. Therefore, it frustrated AJ. Then it frustrated AJ in a way when AJ hit him and finally got him done. That's what AJ rushed in. He's like, yo, this guy's annoying me. And you see, well, like you pointed out, Hamid, he was on the back foot. AJ's never been on the back foot. Now, listen to this now, very important. Ruiz put Joseph Parker on the back foot. Look at Joseph Parker in the first fight with Ruiz, and his eyes like, yo, this blubber's got me on the back foot as well. And
Parker kept range. Parker he figured out real quick not to stand in the pocket like that.
You know what the other thing is. You know what it is. It's also Parker knows how to fight on his toes. Joshua so heavy.
But you know what? That's a good point. But that's true. Good point, right? But what I'm going to say to you, when you put a guy in out of his comfort zone, now I teach my fighters when I'm training to fight on the front foot and to fight on the back foot. But when you're put in a position where Joshua's used to having everything his own way, he couldn't get his own way. But when he finally got any little bit of success, you can see his apprehensions to go in there to finish him off, and therein lies the trouble he got himself into. And that's a nutshell.
EJ, real quick, I want to get what you're saying. So what you're saying is that basically AJ got frustrated, let himself get frustrated with Ruiz slapping the jab away, and instead of sticking with it, he decided I need to do something else.
Yeah, because he remember again, bearing in mind people put that tag on him. You need to be more accepting. You need to be more exciting than Wilder, and that's what he was thinking. He's like, yo. You know, he had that on his back, like thinking, you know, people are you gonna let Ruiz go a couple of rounds. So AJ was like, yo, frustrating me. Okay, I've got him down. Let me go in and kill him. And therein lies the mistake. But listen to this. If Parker had the right idea, right, keeping him, but even Parker fighting that type of fight, people still have Ruiz winning the fight. So
exactly. But you got a box. No, but you got a box.
Yeah, and that's this is something I asked in the chat section there, Dan, is like, okay, yes, for obviously Ruiz was like the 3rd or 4th guy, but how much better, if at all, are we sure that those other 3 or 4 guys are than Ruiz?
I don't think they're better.
Are we even sure that Miller is at all better than Ruiz? Because
no, he's not.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
I'm gonna say something controversial. I'm gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna say something controversial. It's very hard to beat Ruiz. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree.
Parker on the back foot and he won the fight. People think he won. So how does Joshua go about beating this guy? Well, boy, it help if people say, "Oh, look at his stomach." Well, bro, you just saw him parry into the stomach. So you're not. He's not gonna let you hit him, and he's not gonna let you hit into the head. So when you fight him down, how do you beat that guy? Well, hey, listen, you do. I think what you do with him, you smash and grab. When Joshua got the success, Joshua should have worked behind your jab, up and down, just be patient and get me. But I think behind his jab, he needs to be faster.
That's the term. That's the key word there. Patient. You got to be way more patient.
But look, I don't know if inactivity played a part, but look at Joshua's previous performance. I know Povetkin hurt him really, but the respect he showed him and the way he was boxing was beautiful. I
think me and EJ talked about that the other day. I think the quick turnaround, because we talk about inactivity with modern fighters all the time. I think Ruiz is pretty. He didn't really get too banged up against or who was that he beat up?
Dimitrenko,
guy, Dimitrenko. And then he just went right into the next camp. I think that may have actually worked in his favor, because you know what I mean. You're what's the word I'm looking for, EJ?
What's that?
You're like, yeah, you got your momentum. You're right where you want to be. Physically and mentally and all that. You're staying in the zone, so to speak.
That's another thing with Joshua. That when he fought Takam, he straight away scheduled the unification with Parker in March, and I thought he did good against Parker because he went the distance, and we've never seen him go.
You know what I'm trying to say, EJ? When you get right where you want to be in sparring, getting ready for a fight, when you find that spot, you don't. Well, I don't know. I can't remember what the term is for it.
What you talking about? Wait, you talking about in the actual fight when you're in your range? You talking about?
No. I'm talking about when you're preparing for the fight and you get right to that spot where you want to be in sparring. You dial everything back. You know what I mean? You don't want to get them too mashed up.
Picking all the boxes or
yeah. You know what I'm trying to say? Fighting trim, basically, might be another one term for it. But what I'm getting at is, so Ruiz was right where he wanted to be. He just had to stay there.
Yeah, can I say something real quickly, guys? Let me say something real quickly about Ruiz. Now, you mentioned that if Joshua could somehow develop a skill to fight off the back foot through his jab. Okay, here's another problem with that. Even if Joshua does improve in that area, the one thing Ruiz can do, and that a lot of people seem to neglect, is that he could counter off that front foot too. When he's on the front foot, he could counter that shot. And that's what makes him even more dangerous. And now that's Joshua's going to have to really figure this out.
I don't even think. I think it's more fundamental than even back foot, front foot, or whatever. He just has to. AJ's got to control. He's got to figure out a way to control range one way or the other. But
the way he controlled the range with Parker and Povetkin, I don't know if Ruiz is probably better than those guys. But
Ruiz, I can answer about Povetkin in my opinion. The big difference is Ruiz is way more patient than Povetkin, and he doesn't Povetkin's more explosive. He's trying to nail you with he's trying to, but he tries a lot of that leaping in and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Ruiz not only did Ruiz not jump in, I've pointed this out a few times. What shocked me also is Ruiz was able to get AJ to overextend. The guy with the bigger reach, he was able to get him to overextend and then counter.
Listen, how you beat him?
Whereas Povetkin, what I'm getting with the difference is Povetkin he'll initiate. You get what I'm trying to say? He's going to try.
How Joshua beats him? Joshua needs to double and triple his jab because what we're
that's a good point.
We're saying he's parrying here, so I say my fighters, what you do, right?
Double.
He's parrying because what Joshua done, he'll throw one jab and he'll parry, and then Joshua goes somewhere else. So I tell my fighters is that you need to double it and triple it. And then that will keep him up now because if you double your jab when someone parry, you can't double parry or triple. You're lucky because the range where you're doing it will confuse you and it will blind you. Then you're open for a straight right hand or a left hook. So what you need to do? And Lennox Lewis is very good. This is why Lennox Lewis is teaching Daniel Dubois right now, right? And Daniel Dubois is fighting Gorman. See now, not initially, right when that fight was made, I was picking Gorman. Now I know Lennox Lewis in the camp. No. Gorman's gonna win the Gorman not.
But doesn't.
And listen, when you got the trainer in you to implement what you need to do, it makes things different. Now listen, that's Robert McCracken fighters double the jab. Now Robert McCracken when he fought Keith Holmes, he lost to Keith Holmes. Keith Holmes was better at jabbing, right? But what you need to implement, and you sit down and watch the footage, is like a lot of double and triple jabs, for Joshua to get his going. When he gets in there, do not fight him inside. You tie him up, and when you tie him up immediately, what you do, you walk him back to the corner. Now, what this does, yeah, this tires out Ruiz's legs, makes him start breathing, make him believe, make all that weight, that blubber, make it start working on his legs. Now he's been working on it. Listen, let me tell you something. Wrestling Joshua is no fun. That's where Joshua, see, boxing in the old school thing, he used to wrestle, right? A lot of the infights, they wrestle. So what you do, you wrestle. I teach my fighters this. So my fighters, and my amateur fighters, they do pretty well because I tell them immediately when you're in that pocket, tie them up. And what happens when you tie them? I'm talking about not holding now. I'm talking about tying up. So your arm is holding the guys around the back of his elbow. So what naturally happens? The fighter tries to pull himself out. Now while he's trying to pull himself out, it's tiring. When he finally gets free, he's breathing. Now I say to my fighters, work to the body now so they don't recover. And this is a little strategy that I will implement with Joshua. Now, whether he's going to do that, that's another thing because Joshua's always about the fans.
Can I say something, EJ? Can I say something about that? Wouldn't that kind of work against Joshua? Because his endurance has always been a serious issue. That could work against him for one. And can I say something too? Another thing too, real quickly. Young Merv in the chat says, "Look, here's the thing. With regards to the Parker situation, Parker, the referee controlled the range in that situation. We all know that infamous referee who wouldn't allow Parker
on the inside,
wouldn't allow him to work inside when he actually had some success against AJ in there because AJ didn't like those body shots that Parker was giving to him in the inside. He didn't like it. So the referee helped him in that situation. One and two, Young Merv also says that look, punch resistance is his problem, and two, he doesn't move his head. So how does he?
Can I say something?
That comes in. But listen to this, right? The referee ain't got nothing on no heavyweight. All the referee can tell Joshua is the break. You think that referee can get Joshua's arms free when he locks him up? Like the referee don't control shit. The referee tells you. But he just decides to hold you and walk you back. What's the referee gonna do? He's gonna put
Josh, Josh.
Wait, you can't put his hand in there in between Joshua with their muscles and tell him. All he can do is like break. Joshua walking back. There's nothing he can do. And what I'm trying to say to you is that's the way. I'm going to be controversial right now. I'm going to say Ruiz is one of the elite heavyweights in the. It's very hard to beat that man. I'm not going to lie to you because it is very hard to beat.
You know what, EJ? I think you make a really good point about the grappling, and I'll use this example.
Yeah.
Vladimir Klitschko, no way in hell does Vladimir Klitschko, the Emmanuel Stewart, no way does that Vlad let Ruiz work like that on the inside. He would have tied him up, leaned on him, and walked him all over. Now, whether the ref let him get away with it, and whether we liked it, that's a very different thing. But I'm just saying, tactically and stylistically, Vlad is a good example of what he's trying to say.
Would Vlad have lost that fight after he dropped Ruiz? I don't think he would have lost it. Like Vlad
because he would have tied him up. Like I'm saying, Vlad would have controlled range. He'd either tied him up or kept him at the end of the jab.
There's nothing the referee can do. You need Eddie Cotton in there. You need one of them big heavyweight referees to do that. That referee you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
And I tell my fighters as well, right? Depending on the referee, like there's certain referees they interfere. And I say to my fighters, listen, when you're in the referee, if that referee's interfering, you're gonna have to take things in your own hands, right?
Yeah.
Now the referee said if you do this, you're gonna get disqualified. I said, yo, let him disqualify you then. If he feels he's gonna disqualify you, then let him disqualify you and let him see.
And also boxing. Hang on, real quick.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Let him have the balls to disqualify you in a major fight and see if he works in a major fight again, because that ownership doesn't come in the fight no more. You got someone to blame. So I'm trying to say to you is that Joshua has the right as the champion, as the big money spender to get away with it. Floyd got away with things. Oscar got away with things. Whoever runs the money, they get away with it. They allow little
all the greats got away with something.
Yeah, that's true.
Real quick. EJ, wouldn't you say that boxing is a lot like basketball in that from fight to fight, game to game? They say that in NBA that the players adjust to the ref from game to game because every ref's a little bit. You know what I'm trying to say, Dan?
Yeah. To some degree, I agree with that assessment right there. But let's just be realistic, guys. I'm going to say something. I know how many you wanted to get in, but let me just say this real quickly. Let's be fair, though. Maybe we're jumping the gun a little bit on the rematch because there's a possibility it may not go down. Because, you have Al Heyman that represents Ruiz, and we don't know the terms of that Richard.
It is contractually
Dan, more fundamentally, this is boxing. We don't know. You don't know never until
this is more anticipated. I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna put it right. This is more anticipated than Fury and Wilder too. This is this is gonna happen, right? And he's gonna sell. Listen, people love a comeback story. They love it, bro. I'm telling you, this is big.
I agree.
This is what I was going to say. One sec. Can I just say this? I was at Joshua Parker. I know the referee had a lot to say, but Joshua showed him a respect. Like he wasn't coming in head first, and he managed to keep his distance. Now, when Parker did get on the inside, I agree the referee kept breaking him up. But with Ruiz, body language was wrong. He didn't know what to do, even on the outside. He didn't have the patience, and to me, it looked like he tried getting him out of there as early as possible. I think if that was Klitschko and he dropped Ruiz, Klitschko would have kept his distance. He would not have come in, rushing in with his head first, with his chin in the air. Like
Klitschko would have been grabbing his knees like he did against what's that Nigerian bro? What's Nigerian again? Yeah. About against thingy Sam Peter.
Hey, good for real though. Speaking of Joseph Parker did say before the fight that Andy Ruiz hit much harder than Anthony Joshua. He did say that, and a lot of people called him crazy for saying that. They say, "Oh, you just haven't sound great because you lost to Joshua. Joshua beat you." Well, you might want to.
I've been asking that, Dan. I've been asking, hey, how much of it is maybe AJ being chinny, and how much of it is Ruiz hitting harder than we expected? Because I thought he hit hard enough. I didn't think he hit that hard.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead, McGregor.
Joshua never landed a flush shot on Parker for Parker to make a valid assessment of that.
He landed one shot.
Yeah. He never had a reason to rush.
Ruiz landed on Parker a fuck ton. So maybe he felt that more afterwards.
No, but Dominic Brazil said that Wilder hits like a sledgehammer. Joshua didn't hit.
Listen, Parker said that. Now, Parker looked at Joshua and said, "Yeah." He saw the muscle. Said, "Yeah, I ain't getting hit by him." Parker didn't want to stay there to get hit by him. That's a very good point. But we're saying that he got hit flush by him and it dazed him. But really and truly, he knew he could say what he could say. I think
the point is Parker showed Ruiz more respect.
1 minute, Hamid. Yeah, Joshua has shown. Yeah, regardless of what Parker said, Joshua has shown that he has the power to knock it down. Look at Ruiz's face when he hit the canvas and told me that guy there ain't no power in his punches. His eyes rolled back in his head. He came back like a slot machine. He looked at the referee, looked down at the canvas, and yo, how the fuck did I get here?
Yeah, just because he doesn't maybe hit as hard as Wilder one punch doesn't mean he can't punch.
We're not taking anything away from from Joshua. I'm not doing that. I'm just wanted to point it out. That's what Parker said, and maybe he has some truth to that because he gave Andy Ruiz far more respect in his fight than he did with Andy Joshua.
He could be right.
He did.
Parker
was literally running from Ruiz against Joshua. He was taking steps back. Like I think he did.
I think EJ's right. I think he figured out early in the fight. Tactically, just forget standing in the pocket with this guy because it wasn't going to work.
Yeah, I think Ruiz is heavy under.
Whereas
AJ dropped him and went in for the kill.
Yeah.
Nothing people factor in. The guy only fought weeks before. And he had good fun. That's another thing people didn't factor in. Usually, because Ruiz looks to me, let's be honest, if you leave him a couple of months, that guy's going to start eating, bro.
That's what I'm trying to see.
If you leave him up,
that's a big factor too, right? Is how he handles all this.
That's what I'm trying to see. People are saying give him a full training camp, but he fought a couple of weeks before.
That's very interesting to me that you say that, EJ, about Ruiz eating, because I think
No, I'm saying it makes a difference because remember again, he's got the Snicker deal. This guy's gonna be eating, bro. But come December, he's gonna be eating. He's gonna be celebrating.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, mate. December, November. It's very coincidental that Eddie Hearn has the rematch lined up for fucking Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, hey, what did I say? This is what I'm saying about maybe that could be a part of the activity thing.
You know what? Let me say this. This is probably, maybe Hearn is going for the hey, hold up, EJ, hold up. Maybe Hearn is going for the Sugar Ray Leonard Roberto Duran strategy. When Leonard did this shit to Duran after the first fight, he knew Duran was totally out of shape and undisciplined after, out of the ring. So he figured that, let this guy blow up in weight. I'm gonna catch him at a good time to take him when I know I can beat him. And that's why they had that. That's some bullshit.
Well, and this is what I mean. Another way that maybe the activity, being active on, it could be a way that the turning right around from the Dimitrenko fight may have actually worked in Ruiz's favor. because he didn't have time.
That's
He didn't have
what I'm
time to get rusty. He didn't have sharp. That's the word I was looking for earlier. Simple, sharp. He
That's
didn't have
better than
time
a
to
full
get
training
rusty
camp,
or overweight or anything.
Yeah,
That's better than a full training camp having a fight.
Inactivity, and the real reason. Let's be honest. How disciplined really is he? If Joshua caught him,
We don't know. We're going to find out.
Joshua caught him and he's perfect. Joshua caught him at the perfect timing for him. But unless Joshua caught him the perfect time for Ruiz, but which is good because there's no excuses. But let me tell you something. If you leave that guy long enough, this is just my opinion. He's not very disciplined. If everything about him is not very disciplined. He's good at what he does, but bro, like I just feel like say, yeah, Joshua put a lot of time and effort in. Did Joshua calculate and make mistakes? I think he'll deal. I think if you leave it longer and you let Ruiz leave time, he's gonna listen. He's celebrating right now. Bro, everywhere he goes, yo, let's beers, let's drink. Yo, of course, he had 2 training camps back to back. This guy is not disciplined. I reckon Joshua's gonna hurt.
Has anybody seen his Instagram videos? Like Andy Ruiz's Instagram videos and shit, where like he's doing his stories and he's at these events and he's gone to the Jimmy Kimmel show and he's got hampers of Snicker bars and fucking beer and everything, man, for real. Like, and he's like, oh my god, they know I love Snickers, and he's opening one up and eating one. Like, mate, he's already gained like 20 pounds already.
Thank you. This is what I'm telling you. And he's gonna come in with his undisciplined himself. They all know that, so they know that that's what they're trying to get. He's gonna end of the day, Ruiz. If he was any type of guy, he's like, yo, I need to get myself in really good shape, keep myself.
Joshua can't bank on that, man. Last time he fought
No. He's heavyweight. It doesn't matter. But what I'm trying to say to you is that the Ruiz coming into the fight, if he's not as disciplined, remember he had like a fight before. So if Ruiz is gonna fight him, so they say to Ruiz, oh yeah, you're fighting December, right? If I'm Ruiz, I get a fight in first. I get voluntary in Mexico against some scrub quick and get myself ready because I think he needs 2 training camps to even get.
Depends what's in the contract, though, man. If it says you gotta fight him,
you can fight a non. You don't have to put your belt. Boxers back in the days always did that. You can fight a voluntary. You can fight a fight. The belt don't have to be on line. A 10-rounder. You can always do that. The belt on the line.
I'm just saying. What if they say?
No one's telling him that he can't fight. But you can't put the belts on the line. He can fight anytime he wants, bro. It's up to him. You can do that. Boxers do that. Boxers have been doing that all the time. They even though they're champion, they fight without the belt. You can fight a 10-rounder.
They've changed that recently. EJ.
Which sanctioning body?
All 4 sanctioning bodies say that if you are one of our champions, all of your fights have to be under our sanctioning rules. Otherwise, you could be stripped of the title.
Hey, but listen, I tell you what we do. Because rules are made to be broken. You pay the sanctioning bodies and shut them up. They're not going to say nothing. I'm saying.
You know what? And you know what though? Like I said, going back to this point, because I know McGregor and I talked. Rob and I talked about this briefly. He asked a very good question. Can Al Heyman do what he can? Can he outmaneuver the situation where Ruiz does not have to go into the rematch?
I think I got the answer for that. Someone said that.
Ted DiBiase, man. It's some Ted DiBiase shit.
Someone said that Eddie Hearn and them could have put something in the contract that if you don't take the rematch, he could be fined a lot more money than he won in the first fight. So it depends.
If it's like remember Lennox and Rockman, he chased them all around in court and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
He was able to force it, but it depends. That still depends on like you said, if it's the same as that contract, and if AJ pushes the matter in court, then obviously, you should be able to force it. But again, we don't know.
Well, we don't know because Heyman could possibly pay out. I'm sorry, he could possibly pay out a penalty fee to Hearn and Matchroom, so that way he doesn't have to.
I mean, let's be real. With all these sanctioning bodies, like I said, it's some Ted DiBiase shit. Everybody's got a price, and if you got enough to pay them, it's going to come down to who's going to put the more money behind it. 99% of the time.
But I don't know. Walter's already got a fight lined up with Ortiz. So if Ruiz did pull out his rematch, who is he going to fight to in the meantime?
They could scrap that fight. Ortiz fight could be scrapped too. They could do that.
Mate, I'm going to ask you this question.
Oh, my bad.
Andy Ruiz for the Unified Heavyweight Championships of the World in Mexico at the Azteca against Eric Molina. Tell me it's not big.
Oh, that's a big fight in Mexico.
We talked about this the other day. It'd be huge.
That's a big fight.
Or Ruiz rather. If he wins the rematch, he's going to be the biggest name in North America. Move over Canelo.
Yep.
Joshua Ruiz in Mexico. I know it would never happen, but that would be
never
a huge
happened.
fight. That would be a huge fight, though.
Hey, Ruiz is the casual in America. Ruiz is the casual man's dream. Like, yo, look at him. He's like me. I don't have to be. I don't have to train. I don't message you. The message Ruiz is saying you could be like me. Look this way and this. I'll be honest with you. It worked. And it
just
worked.
like old George. Remember old George Foreman when he made his comeback? If they could market him the same way, couldn't they?
Yeah. But what about from Team Joshua though? Wouldn't you want in the UK? You gotta try and get those.
No. America, you can't. Bro, the way things are, people do, man, if you get it back in the UK, people are gonna say, "Oh, you got the UK judges." They're gonna give Joshua more stick. You gotta fight in America. Go ahead, bro.
Well, I was gonna say too. A lot of people, and Dillian White even brought this up. I'm not sure. We should touch on this a little bit. This is probably what he said too, and Gennady Golovkin said the same shit too. If he takes it to the UK. Dillian White said, well, the reason why he lost that match because he can't get TUE exemptions like he did in the UK. That's what he said. And I'm like, whoa, okay. And then Gennady Golovkin came out and said that, well, Joshua had to succumb to stricter testing regimens over in the state than he would be in the UK. That's probably why he lost the fight.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
But you guys in America have been caught. I don't get that. Joshua's on something.
That's bullshit because he still put him down. I mean, what are you talking about? Like, the guy still put him down.
Well, right? Yeah, I hear you. Dillian White and Gennady Golovkin said this shit. That's what you got to talk to them about. That.
Dillian White is bitter. Golovkin, that was misinterpreted. I read the headline was not what he said. The article was a bit different.
They're haters, bro. Like, that's all I can say. Like, if you continue, keep putting it on this guy, yeah. Let's look at you, Dillian, yeah, and some of the stuff you've been up to, right? And the day when people, look at Big Baby. It's funny. The people always putting it on AJ. Look how they end up. Big Baby. Yo, but listen, at the end of the day, you're gonna get your chance against Wilder because apparently Eddie Hearn. It makes me laugh, but Eddie Hearn wants to make Dillian number one contender, right?
Yeah.
How many of you guys right here think Dillian White can beat Deontay Wilder? Tell me.
I don't think he can do it. No way.
He's got a puncher's chance. That's about.
He's got a puncher's chance. That's about it.
Yeah,
that's.
Sure
I think he can win.
Nah, not by skill. No way by skill. He's got a puncher's chance. If he can land that left hook. Yeah, he probably could do it.
I don't think Wilder's like an overly skilled boxer.
Is there a big skill gap there, Dan? I'm not sure.
I don't think it's a massive skill gap or anything like that. I think anything. Listen, people underestimate Dillian's boxing acumen. Don't forget, this guy won a unanimous decision over Joseph Parker on points, and nobody was predicting him to win on points.
And I think also people. Hang on, real quick, EJ. I think in addition to what McGregor just said, I think sometimes people confuse natural athletic ability with technique. They're two very different things.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Just because maybe you are more naturally coordinated than another person doesn't mean your technique is as good as theirs.
No, Dillian White is not that skillful. He knows how to use his size.
I don't know. Is his technique not better? Maybe a little better than Wilder. Wilder's got really
probably
more technique.
A little bit.
But Wilder is probably a better natural athlete. Is what I'm.
Yes,
trying
I'm saying. That's a good point, Doc. That's what I was going to say. Dillian's technique has gotten better. I will give him that. But his feet is slow, and his hand speed is not quite as quick as people think it is. It's not. So he's going to have to figure out a way to land that left hook against Wilder because Wilder will move. He's too agile. He's too quick.
Can I ask a question? One second. Do you reckon? One second. This is one question. Do you reckon the guys that Joshua fought, if Wilder fought all those guys, do you reckon he'd still be unbeaten?
That's a very good question.
That's a very good question. Now, Klitschko, I'm going to be honest with you. Klitschko is up in the air, but I directly beat Povetkin and Parker. He definitely beat those guys and Taco. Wilder would beat those guys.
All right, let me give you two scenarios, right? So this is what I feel, right? And I was looking at this when Dillian White went down to Parker, right? In the last round, how did he react? Hold on for life. When Dillian
he had to run the clock out. He had to run the clock out, EJ.
Wait, Deontay Wilder got wobbled and beat up by a thing because I was looking at people respond, right? Yeah. Right, when he got wobbled by Ortiz and he got wobbled, and he did get wobbled by Brazil. I always look at how people respond. Look at the response of how Wilder comes back when he's hurt, and look how Dillian White when he responds, and look how Dillian White when he got knocked down by AJ, right, a couple of times he responded. Yeah, he caught AJ with left hook, but he couldn't finish the job. And therein lies the fight: how you respond when you're hurt. And I tell you what, the way Wilder rose, listen, he's a problem, bro. I'll tell you that right now. He's a problem. I'll give. Yeah,
how come? one second. I just want to say this because Dwyer brought it up. It's a good point, and I mentioned it the other day. How did Waldo was given extra time with OTs, and that was in New York, and then Joshua got dropped twice at the end of the time, and the doctor didn't check him. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, and I'd say, Ahmed, that is that's somewhat hypocritical. Why Joshua didn't get the benefit of the doubt in that situation? But to be fair, though, he did get the benefit of doubt, and when he got knocked down the second time in that third round, he got so much time that he shouldn't have gotten. To be honest with you, he did. The referee told him, "Walk forward."
That's the referee.
The referee gave him benefit of doubt in that situation. He almost gave him the benefit of doubt in the seventh round when he got put down the fourth time. When he got up on
the corner, though, the corner shouldn't have given Wilder that. Either you give it to both fighters or you don't give it to
yeah, and I was going to point out, too, that's a good point. I agree with you on that one. But to be fair, though, there was a fighter yesterday on the Gennady Golovkin card. I think it was Hernandez against one of those Rucanian fighters. It was a Gennady Golovkin fighter, a light middleweight. I forgot the guy's name, but it was a fighter who got the Magomedov treatment too in that fight yesterday. He was getting beat up.
Are you talking about the Gonzalez fight against Madrimov?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Gonzalez got that. Yeah, he got that. He got that treatment.
Walk over here. Look down, all that stuff. See, I think when push comes to shove, if you try to, take them to task on it, what they're going to tell you is it's the referee's discretion, and that will in turn fold back to what we said earlier about from fight to fight. You're going to have to learn. You have to learn to adjust to the ref on the night because it's not going to be 100% consistent. Just like we were saying about basketball.
Yeah,
there's always going to be a little bit of variation.
Yeah, so the referee who managed the fight, I think he gave Joshua some type of benefit of doubt in one way. But as far as your point, Ahmed, I do agree that maybe he should have took the other discretion and say, you know what, let me look at you before you even continue the fight.
Yeah, I've never seen that. Like, I do agree the referee gave Joshua every chance in the book, but that corner wasn't like I don't know if it's the doctor or the referee that.
No, the referee has to. No, the referee has to decide. The doctor can't decide that. The referee has to. Yeah,
I've never seen that before. That's why I was just because I thought it was just a New York thing, innit? And
it is a New York rule. It's a New York rule. It's a New York rule. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, I was going to say it is a New York rule, but it's under the referee's discretion to take a look at the fighter, see if they're in the well-being to continue the fight. Because this would have happened to Lamont Peterson. This would happen to against Earl Spence. This would happen to Saddam Ali against Jaime Munguia. Of course, this happened yesterday. It happened yesterday in that fight with Gonzalez. So it happened. Yeah. So it's under the referee's discretion to enforce that rule.
That's fair.
You make good points. Yeah. The bottom line is that at the end of the day, we want fighters and we do care about fighters' health and safety, but this is what they get themselves into. I reckon it's going to be a great fight, but I'm just looking at this, boy, whether people like it or not, boxing's always about timing. It's all about what you do off, what you do when you're not boxing. Ruiz looks to me when he's out the gym, bro. If you left him at if he never had that training camp, how would he have been? No, I mean, if he never had the training camp before he fought the last guy, and then got into the training camp with Joshua, how would he have been? Would he have been so effective? I don't know, but I know this. And everyone's laughing at Joshua about the perfect guy, and people do look like Joshua looks like $1 million, and that's what's made it big. But bro, come on. Right, Ruiz comes with excuses. Oh, sorry, guys, I let you down. How's he gonna deal with being put into that situation? Because I reckon AJ is gonna put him into that position, bro. I reckon he will. Maybe we have 3 fights. Hey, maybe we have 3 fights, bro.
Look how active Ruiz has been since 2018. He's had like 4 or 5 fights. Joshua, before that fight, had 2 fights. That's way too inactive.
That's kind of EJ's point, I think, is that Ruiz when he stays active, he doesn't have time to put on weight. He doesn't have time to get rusty.
Yeah, and the reason why we do that because he needs the bills. But now, listen, this is this, right? This is the whole thing, right? But we talk about Joshua, we talk about complacency. So Joshua is a millionaire, right? We all agree that. Now Ruiz is a millionaire. You understand what I'm trying to say to you? Now, how hungry do you need to fight? If you got money and you got Snickers as much as you like, what makes you want to go to the gym? My man, what makes you? This is what you look at his body.
Mate, look at the shape of him. He doesn't look like he always goes to the gym anyway. And on top of that, he always looks hungry. Look at the size of him.
Yeah, look at Anthony Joshua. Look at Anthony Joshua. He's built as like a goddamn Adonis, as you guys say. And look what happened to him. And this is what Marvin Hagler always say. It's very difficult to go out and do road work if you're sleeping in silk sheets and pajamas. It's very difficult to do that.
Yeah. Well, once you attain a big goal like that, more fundamentally, it's just difficult. You got to find new ways to motivate yourself. Not always easy.
Yeah, exactly. So basically that's what it is, man. But like I said, we'll have to wait and see if this rematch actually does come off because Eddie Hearn is acting desperate right now, especially with the Dillian White situation. I know McGregor, you made a video about this, that he said that there is going to be there's a fight between him and Ribas is going to be for the mandatory spot. Okay, we'll gotta wait for the WC to rule to say something about that. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
Look, I didn't make a video saying that it is. I made a video saying that Eddie Hearn said it is.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. But we'll see. But again, even so, Wilder's already defended his mandatory spot already 3 weeks ago. He has 1 year to do it again, so he can't take another mandatory just like that in 6-7 months unless the WC overrules it.
What's the point, Dillian White being ranked number 1 if he's never mandatory like that? That
well,
doesn't make sense.
I hear you, but he's never fought in the final eliminator. That's the problem. He's never done it. He's had opportunities to do it, and I mentioned this earlier. He's had opportunities to do it, and he turned it down. In fact, he had
Dan,
hold on, Mr. Doc. Let me say this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say you get in. He had an opportunity to do it against Dom Brazil last year when Dom Brazil actually wanted to put it on the line against him, and he turned it down and decided to fight Joseph Parker instead, who was coming off a loss against Joshua. So
I get that. But
and the Brazil, and just real quick, you got to remember the Brazil shenanigans play into that too in the first part. I mean, we also, it's one of those, none of us know for sure, but we all kind of, it's an open secret that he got ranked because of all that with the
real fast on, by the way, the timeline there that you just said is a little bit messed up. Just slightly because it wasn't Brazil, it was Kubra Pulev for the IBF where he was offered that one. Brazil came at a later date, and that was after Dillian White's fight with Joseph Parker. When Tyson Fury came out, and then instead of that, Brazil then ended up stepping up to fight Wilder as the rightful mandatory. So that's why Dillian didn't get the chance to fight that fight, because they were in agreements to have that fight.
Well, yeah. What I'm saying is before that even went down, before the Parker fight was even announced, people wonder who Dillian White's going to fight in this. And that's when Brazil stepped in and say, I'll fight you. I'll put my mandatory status on the line. And Eddie Hearn said they were going to look into that fight. The next they announced the Parker fight because we were expecting that.
What happened with Stavin, though? Did Stavin fight the final eliminator?
No, he didn't either. I was pissed off about that. You know what happened with Stavin? He was actually supposed to fight in the final eliminator against, what's his name?
Povetkin? Was it Povetkin?
Povetkin, and Povetkin got busted again. We all know that situation. Yeah. And then the WC wanted Stavin to fight Ortiz in the final eliminator. And Stavin was like, hell no, I'm not fighting that guy. I got bigger fish to fry. So, yeah, I can understand in that situation. I'm not saying I understand. I didn't like it at all. I think Stavin should never have gotten that position, to tell you the truth.
It's hypocritical.
Yeah, he's hypocritical. Now, in this instance, let me just take it back a little bit. I think Dillian White should give the shot. I was like, okay, you know what? Give him the shot because he has been trying to get these eliminators in the way. He has been trying to do it. I will give him some credit on that situation, even though he's turned them down, but even though he's wanted to oblige to some of them. I'll give him credit for that. Opposed to Stavin. Stavin didn't even want to go through that situation with Ortiz. He didn't want to do it. But I don't blame White too much for Pulev because him and Joshua were trying to negotiate and he didn't fight Joshua. So that would
look. There's no money in Pulev anyway. Look, let's be real. But other than that, even if Dillian White wins this and he's given the interim thing and he's to be made mandatory, right?
Yeah.
Mandatories are normally called for 18 months after the mandatory the person becomes mandatory, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
WBC? Which means that from July 20th when Dillian fights, it will be 18 months from then, which brings us into January or February 2021.
That's correct. So he's gonna have to wait a while. Either way, he's gonna have to wait.
Either way. People can talk about the 600 day. That 600 day thing is about to turn into 1,000 days, boys.
Yeah, you got to imagine at least part of it is like Dillian's already invested this much time and money in it, right?
Yeah, but don't you think it's kind of a desperation attempt by Hearn to come out and say this, though, given the fact he has no belts at heavyweight now that Heyman's got all the belts? Don't you think he's acting a little desperate now to come out?
He's acting like a boxing promoter.
I don't think it's pure desperation either, because if Eddie Hearn's 100% lying, right?
Yeah.
We all know Mauricio Sullivan would have come on to Twitter right away saying we never agreed that shit.
Yeah, that's true. But in fact, I looked at their Twitter and they haven't even said anything about it yet. So I guess we expect an announcement probably by tomorrow or so.
But Dan, your basic question is: Do we think Fast Eddie's maneuvering behind the scenes for a position? Of course he is. Of course, all of them are. They're boxing promoters. You know what I mean? That's of course that's going to go on.
Well, I would say one thing. Good luck to that, because I don't see how they can even become successful in that situation, trying to stall Fury versus Wilder 2, because that's the whole point of this. He's trying to make that fight from not happening. That's what Hearn's goal is.
That's not going to happen. Like, look, even if Dillian gets the mandatory position, it won't have to be called for 18 months. But here's one thing I will say, right? And this one needs to be watched carefully, because this will kind of piss me off. We all know that Anthony Joshua's been the golden child of Eddie for quite a while, right? We all know that. If all of a sudden Joshua's lost and Eddie suddenly really pushes for it and Dillian's got a mandatory fucking fight, a fight to become mandatory, after all of this fucking time, people are going to have to start asking him questions as to why he couldn't have done this quicker.
Right, exactly. That's a good point. That's a very, very, very good point. Very good point. I don't know, man. To me, though, with him coming out, he's been doing a lot of interviews. I mean, Eddie's always been around and doing a lot of interviews. That's nothing new. But
it is quite fucked up, though. The WBC said Brazil was mandatory, and then they sanctioned Fury and Wilder. And Fury, I don't even think had fought anyone in the top 10.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't.
His biggest opposition had been cocaine addiction and mental illness prior to
that. Let me see. Young Merv in the chat says, "How do you not know the rules of having WC as silver?" I mean, yeah, you know what? To pertain to that, on Young Merv has a point though. He says, "Look, the WBC. If you were to the WBC silver belt, the WBC silver belt does not make you mandatory." That's a Young Merv point. Yeah.
Who said it does?
Some people have.
Oh.
They keep alluding to that. Say he's a silver champion for a long time. Why is he not mandatory?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but a lot of people are kind of, that's what a lot of people have to be corrected on that. That does not make you mandatory. But in one instance,
there's many Olympic silver medalists, Dan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Many Olympic silver medalists. How many of them are gold medalists?
Not many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I see what your point is, but I was going to get to my point. My point is that Dillian has obliged to some degree, has agreed to fight the final eliminators against Fury. He's agreed to that if Fury backed out. So if Fury's backed out of it, then his fight against Rivas should be made the final eliminator, which I totally agree with. I can't fault him for that. But my point is that this whole thing about him being shut out for a long time, I just don't agree with that to an extent, because he's had opportunities to go to final eliminators years ago, and he turned them down. That's just my whole point.
That's correct.
Yeah.
The thing is, they want the mandatory, so they want the mandatory. But let me tell you something. Like Eddie Hearn, really and truly, Eddie Hearn and Dillian Whyte, right? They're gonna get opportunity to fight for the title, and you're gonna get your time. But let me tell you something. You're catching Wilder at the peak time. This guy's on fire. No excuses, bro. Let me say, do they really want it? Do you really want that guy? Because let me say, sometimes you ask for something you don't really want it. Wilder is on form, and see, actually, Mark Brilliant called me. Actually, I can call Mark Brilliant. He actually called me earlier on today. Actually, Mark Brilliant. Listen, he's working after the Fury thing, right? Because this is the thing when you fight against a higher level fighter, right? One of your contemporaries, yeah. You look at Wilder now. Wilder used his jab and then threw that right hand like from hell. Dillian is catching him at the right time. Wilder's everyone talk about AJ's improvement. Well, Wilder's improved, man. Wilder's improved. Is Dillian really improved that much that he can counter the right? Yeah, maybe the left hook. Maybe he can counter it. But bro, that right hand lands. Dillian ain't gonna like it. I don't know if they really want it though. I don't know if they really. I don't know if they. I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know if they really want it. Or they trying to say, and this is the whole thing Eddie Hearn was on, right? Oh, Dillian Wilder sell. So their whole thing is we're gonna try and get Wilder in the UK. That's what I really think Eddie Hearn is trying to do. Because if they make number one, then they can go to Paris place. Then they realize Wilder doesn't sell. Then we can drag Wilder into the UK and get home court advice. That's what I think Eddie's trying to do. But I don't think it's going to work no more.
No, they're not going to get the UK.
No, you can't get Wilder into the UK now. The market in the UK is going down. The market in the US is starting to increase.
Eddie Hearn killed it. Eddie Hearn done that to the UK.
You know what? Let me say this though. I'll be fair though, and I think some uploader made a good point about this. Joshua's loss actually brought up a spike in the heavyweight division in the US. It has.
Yeah, the US.
It spiked it up. It spiked it up. Yeah. I'm just being real. It did, because that's all people could talk about at this point.
Here's one other thing, Dan. One other thing. And I want to say a big congratulations to Andy Ruiz. I was looking at this last night, and I looked at it when he won the fight. So the night before he won the fight, Andy Ruiz had 55,000 followers on Instagram. As of last night, when I looked, he had 883,000.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
we love upsets. We love upsets.
Not only do you love upsets, man, that Mexican casual fan base is in now, man. He's got more fans.
We've been trying to
He's got more fans on it. He's got more followers on Instagram than Errol Spence, Mikey Garcia, and Tank combined.
The Hispanic fight fan base in North America is very strong. Very strong.
Let me just tell you this, though. Another thing I was going to make a point, though, is that, I was going to say the Mexican fan base, even freaking, I know EJ don't want me to bring up this dude's name. El Du has been going all over the Rampage about this shit. El Du been talking a lot of shit, though, man. Hey, I don't blame him.
He has every fucking right to, man. He has every right to. It's going on.
Yeah,
he's on fuck shit. What's he saying? He's on fuck shit, though. He's on fuck boy shit.
That was fucked up.
He made a video about Wilder ducking Ruiz now. I'm like, what?
No, he didn't.
Yo, to be fair, Ruiz has said that he wants to fight Wilder. Ruiz has said that.
Yeah, Wilder said he wants to fight him too. So we want.
When did Wilder say that?
He said it on his Instagram page. He even congratulated him, saying, I shall see you soon.
Well, someone asked about, like, I think it was
that doesn't mean he wants to fight him. Andy Ruiz says he wants to fight him.
Lots of fighters say lots of things on social media. But someone asked earlier about, if they fought so-and-so's opposition or whatever. I've been saying for the longest time that if, say, the top 5-6 guys or even top 10 guys all were really mixing it up with each other the way they should be, they'd all have losses. They'd all have losses.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what makes the division better. All the losses, the AJ's got that loss, right? There's only two things happen. You can either go backwards or go or get better. I think Joshua learns from this year and becomes better. I think he becomes better. Does Ruiz get better? Because I think Ruiz is good at what he does. He's good at what he does. You know what I mean? But his lack of, and you could see, I don't care what anyone can tell. His lack of discipline in terms of his belly. He's a talented guy, no doubt about it. But his lack of discipline. Can that trainer motivate him to get him where he needs to be? Because if I was him, I'd like, yo, see this, right? Okay, you need to capitalize on the Snicker bars. Okay, but what you're promoting there is fat, right? Fatty shit. That's what you're saying, right? Okay, great. But let me tell you something, bro. They're coming for you. Everyone's coming for you. You have two things you can either do. You can get yourself in shape, keep yourself ticking over, or you can gorge yourself on this food and Snicker bar and get yourself out of shape so they can make you into a joke, because that's the realism. Because you see Joshua, people laugh at them as a joke. Ruiz, my friend, that's what what's happening to you. You got Mexican riding you, yo, La Raza. You come to the say to you, bro. Viva la Mexico. But at the same time, that same audience, look what happened to Victor Ortiz. Look what happened to Victor Ortiz when he lost the fight. They throwing bottle cans at you. That's the other side of it, my friend. See,
that's I was saying this the other day. American fans will be very brutal, right? Like AJ's going to get a lot of shit for getting punched up, but at the same time, if you are able to redeem yourself, you know what I mean. America's also a lot about redemption.
Yeah, but Mala, shout out to Mala in the chat. Mala, who's from New Zealand, by the way. He said, look. Ruiz won't be lacking motivation. He's a Mexican. He will show up. He has a warrior's mentality. That's what he said.
He ain't got warrior's body, right? And I'm not.
Look, I'll say one thing. People can talk about Andy Ruiz and coming off of it and everything. Andy Ruiz gained 10 pounds in between the last the fight and the Joshua fight. I mean, sure, the guy indulges. But even though he's fat, and even though he's out of shape, and even though he shouldn't do it, he fucking does it.
No, exactly.
But listen to this.
I think he's a one-off, man. I think this dude's a one-off, man.
You know what? He might be like Beirut, right? He might be like Beirut, the big bad Bino. He comes in, he could have any way he can, and he hits like a ton of bread. He might be that dude. But let me tell you something, bro. Fighting the championship of the world, right, in that situation where you now are the favorite, because his whole thing has been the underdog, my friend. He ain't the underdog no more.
He is the underdog with the bookies. Go check the odds.
EJ, I got a question, EJ.
Yeah, he's the favorite.
With the weight thing, it isn't a large part of it also. Obviously you want to be in a certain weight range, whether you're making a weight class or you just want to be in shape. But isn't a big part of it in boxing also keeping your weight consistent fight to fight and not ballooning?
Yeah. This is what I'm trying to say.
So even if Ruiz, looks out of shape, it's still good for him to stay in whatever weight range he's at, right?
That's what I'm trying to say. This is what I'm trying to say. But what I'm trying to say to you, what I'm telling people, right, is that for him to stay in what he is, because remember he's underdog, right? And now you have the whole thing of being underestimated. You're not going to be underestimated now. They're coming with a full game plan against you, because when you come in, people look at you and think, well, I can't really take you serious. Now everyone's taking you serious now. So now he's going to be put in a position. And I know McGregor's saying he's still going to be the underdog, or maybe slightly, but you're not no more. Now you're getting the endorsements, and this is why it's very hard to stay on top of boxing, because that's why to stay hungry. Very hard. Let's see.
Yeah. Well, you know what? To be fair, yeah. Go ahead, EJ. Yeah, just to be to chime in on McGregor's point, he does have a bit of a point, because Ruiz is still a bit of an underdog going into the rematch, which I cannot understand why he is. I'm not sure if people watch that fight or they don't know boxing, because
I'll tell you why.
Let me say this.
I'll tell you why.
Yeah, let me say this.
I'll tell you why.
Let me say this real quickly. I just don't know if they actually knew Ruiz entirely. They thought, him beating Joshua was a fluke. I don't know what it is. They clearly did not watch this man fight. If you look at his training camps, if you look at his sparring footage, when he sparred Evander Holyfield, this is my first time ever seeing this tape. That dude gave Holyfield a business in sparring. I know that was an old version of Evander Holyfield when he sparred him many years ago. But that man can fight, and he's got very good fundamental skills. It's like, dude, don't let that weight fool you. He probably could come in at 280 and still probably win the fight. He could probably still do it. So I'm just saying, man. Because he came in at 269 when he fought Joshua. He came in at 269, and he purposely came overweight because he knew that Joshua would try to lean on him. He's going to try to bully him in the inside. So that way, if he put on extra weight, Joshua wouldn't be allowed to do that. That's what I'm just saying. But go ahead.
Yeah, the reason I'll tell you why he's still the underdog with the bookies, EJ, and it's a very simple thing. One, the people are the ones who decide the odds. And secondly, most of the people who watch the sport are casuals, like John just said. Maybe they don't know who Ruiz is. And thirdly, and most importantly, most of the casuals, the story hasn't been Andy Ruiz beating AJ. The story has been, why did AJ lose? He couldn't have possibly lost if he was all right. What was it? Oh, was it his mental state? Was there too much pressure? Oh, when he went, America's water is different to England. America's water is different to England. Oh no, he got concussed by Joey the Waco. If he got concussed by Joey the Waco, that's his fucking fault.
Don't forget panic attacks. Don't forget
panic attacks in the dressing room. Like, it's mate, there's been more excuses here, yeah? There's literally been more excuses for this shit than were made up for Michael Jackson's trial.
I'll say this about the panic attacks real quick. One guy that had panic attacks like all the time before fights was Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
And what did he do? He went out there and laid people out.
Yeah, all right. Listen to this, right?
Yeah.
If Mexico are going to be betting on him, right? They're all going to be betting on him. They've come out, like all the brands have come out. They're all going to come out and bet money on him. So I don't think that's the thing. What I'm trying to say to you is that when you've won a fight, right, and you're the guy, people coming for you. And to me, he doesn't. Okay, even though he looks easy. He's not easy to fight, right? But what I'm trying to say to you, how does he cope with not being the underdog type of guy? You're the favorite, man. You got Snick. Hopefully, I don't even know if Snickers endorsed him yet. I know in Mexico he's doing his rounds. I don't know. I think he's going to see the Mexican president at some point. He's going around doing your rounds, this, that, the other. But bruh, going back to training camp and training for AJ, he's going to say, "Whoa, I don't need to do anything else. What I did was fine. I'm good." If that's what you think, and then fine. But let me tell you something, yo. That's not the same AJ coming back the next time, bro. It's going to be a full-on hardcore AJ coming back for you, bro. Look, I hope it's going to be a great fight. But listen, Ruiz has got that type of people in his camp that they feel that they have to change anything because what happened, it works. Apart from his weight.
Well, and from AJ's perspective, again, correct, you know better than me as far as how he's going to be treated over there, EJ. This is make or break. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he gets punched up again, I mean, where does he go from there?
Well, you know what? Even if he gets punched up at this point, I reckon he's going to get to the point where AJ's get to the point where it's like all your money, all the stuff you earn. You look at the camera and say, "Yo, do I really want this?" But because and this is the thing I'm trying to tell you, Ruiz, if he gets knocked to the canvas this time and he's got the snicker deal, he's got all the things you don't have to want for anything else. What's gonna make him get off the canvas, bruh? That's what I'm trying to tell you. He's got money now. That's what I'm saying. You understand? Go ahead. When a fighter strikes lottery, when you win a lottery, tell me some people after they win the lottery, are they the same people after they win the lottery that they are?
Forget fight. Anybody that hits the lottery, man, it's gonna be.
That's what AJ hit the lottery, right? AJ hit the lottery, but he grind himself through it. His whole thing was stay hungry, but it got to him as well. AJ, the most humblest person on the planet, right? As far as I'm concerned, yeah, very humble, and Ruiz is very humble as well. But it finally got to his head as well. It gets to your head. Ruiz, as he gonna now, what's your hunger? What's your desire? What's your desire? You've got the heavyweight championship world. Maybe that's good. But now what we're trying to say is that is your desire to go on to be an all-time great and defend the belt 20 times. Have you got that inside of you? You got that inside?
Okay, EJ, that's well and good. But going back to one of your earlier points, then wouldn't you say that, hey, 3 or 4 months nowadays is a pretty short turnaround, right, between fights? Wouldn't you say that's a lot better than what's usual, which is 9 to even as much as 18 months between fights?
Hey, you know what? I was gonna say to myself that when the deadline comes, I reckon they're gonna say AJ's got injury. They might postpone it and just postpone it into the new year. Because that's what I would do.
Let him go through the holidays like McGregor said. Let him have. I see you working, man. You can let him have Let him have the Halloween candy and the Thanksgiving turkey and the Christmas and New Year's.
Load up on that cranberry sauce and boom.
What they're doing to him? They're gonna do what happened to Roberto Duran. He loves food, man. They know he does. That's all you got to do is like, yo, my man's injured. We postpone it.
Well, you know what? In that case, why don't they just if that's the case, why don't they just wait it longer so that way he can blow up in weight before they take the rematch?
This is kind of what I'm getting at. Is they're really pushing all the chips to the middle of the table, having going to do an immediate rematch. That's a fast turnaround, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. For modern times, as in like the last 10 years, guys don't fight that often anymore.
No, they don't.
They really don't. It's crazy.
What I'm saying, man. What's up, Battle?
What up?
Oh shit! All right, no fucking thing. Battle's dead with it. All right, look. What I'm saying is this: end of the day, it's all the intriguing stuff. Everyone's got their point across. Yo, congratulations to Mexico. Congratulations to John Ruiz, Andy Ruiz. And hey, we go forward. Hey, Dan, you got other news as well. You got other news. I can see you on your title. Go ahead.
Other news?
Yeah, you got other news in your title. I see your title.
Yeah. Let me talk about that real quickly. ZAB Judah, as you guys know, ZAB Judah suffered a brain injury in his fight last night against Cletus, and he's in good spirits right now.
So he had a fight. I was wondering. Yeah. I just had seen.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
The title. Yeah, I remember now.
He got beat up pretty badly. But go ahead.
Yeah. He got beat up pretty bad. 11 round stoppage against Cletus, and then he's in good spirits right now, so he's recovering. So it looks like he's going to recover just fine from the looks of it. It's not. I don't think it's bad.
So did they catch it, or did he pass out, or what happened?
I think he passed out on his way to the hospital. After the fight, and then they say he's fine now. He's been revived in a way, so he should be okay. He's in good spirits, so I think he's going to recover.
He was at least in the ambulance already when it happened. More or less.
Yeah. So people were saying that he was comatose, not the case. Just want to give an update on that. But they did find a leaked aneurysm on the brain, so he does have a bit of blood hemorrhaging on the brain. But they say that he's recovering, and he should be that they've got it under control. So that's.
I was gonna put money in. I was actually gonna put money on the ZAB winning that fight because I saw that guy fight. I see him fight in Canada and he got schooled, and I thought, I was thinking the old ZAB would be able to beat him, but it shows that ZAB really should have been in after he lost to Paulie because really, truly, when I saw that fight with ZAB versus Paulie, I was like, normally ZAB would have murdered Paulie, but
he looked terrible. He looked terrible against Paulie. I was shocked by that too. I thought for sure. I was like thinking going into that. I'm like, okay, Paulie will probably win some rounds and then get, like you say, knocked out.
Yeah.
Right? But it's terrible.
Yeah, but that's what we're about. The thing about if you fight long enough, even the great Joe Louis, eventually at the end of your career, Mike Tyson losing to Matt Bride and all them things. This is what happens in boxing. You lose the guys, with Sugar Ray Robertson, you lose the guys that you're not supposed to lose. In your prime, you would never lose to these guys.
Right.
So you stay long enough. This is what I'm saying to you. But there is, like in the pro game, there's so many tactics there, way how to long people up, make people old, make people rusty. Give you another example: Rob Allen versus Bernard Hopkins. When he beat the shit out of Hopkins and Hopkins died for the ropes. Hopkins waited a year. He dragged it out to a year before he got Rob Allen in there, and he made Rob Allen not allowed to fight any voluntaries or anything, even though Hopkins kept the belt. When the time he got in there for Rob Allen again, Rob Allen, when I talked to him, he said, "Yo, they got me in there after a year. My trainer died before the first fight, and he got knocked out." And I'm trying to say to you, this is the little tactic you AJ, regardless of anything, is even though he's the ace in negotiations and stuff like that, right? They're going to use all these tactics and all these leverage to do things. They want to bring him back to the UK. They want to do this. They want to do that. If I was AJ, I'd go fight in America and fight him head to head, and let's see if you can win the belt back. How you want to how your championship? Because Ruiz, I tell you what, he's got a great platform. How long can he keep it up? Is the question. How long can that guy keep going? That's what I'm saying.
Well,
keep him active, I think, is the assessment we're all kind of in agreement on.
Al Heyman sees that the fact that his popularity has increased dramatically overnight. He's going to bank on Ruiz. He's going to try to milk that situation with him. I'm telling you, man. Going back to this a little bit, I think that negotiation with the rematch between Joshua and Ruiz, there's a good chance it may not happen because Heyman's going to get involved.
Well, how about this, Dan? Here's the other angle, right? Yeah. Let's just play the hypothetical. Okay, Ruiz wins the rematch somehow or another, whatever, right? Yeah. Based on what you were just saying, right? All the money, the potential money for a guy like Ruiz in North America, like we were saying earlier. To me, if he wins the rematch, he's going to overnight be bigger than Canelo.
Oh, absolutely.
Which he'll be the biggest name in North America.
Yeah,
are we necessarily sure Al Heyman throws him in with Wilder really as quickly as we want him to, or does he have him fight? Does he have him fight Eric Molina and Chris Arreola? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I answer that question? Absolutely fucking not. Money equals ka-ching, ching, ching. Al Heyman is a businessman. He has a business degree from Harvard. He ain't doing that shit.
Yeah, I agree. He probably won't throw him in there until Cinco de Mayo, which competes with Canelo on Cinco de Mayo day. So that's going to be a big problem for the zone if that happens.
So what you think they're going to
before we know it?
That's a really good point, Dan, because remember, I mean, Canoli's been king of Cinco de Mayo for how long now? Since Floyd?
Yeah, he's been.
I'm telling you now, Canoli fights on that day, and he's going up against Areola and fucking Andy Ruiz on Cinco de Mayo. That's it.
He's getting crushed. He's getting crushed, bro.
Hey, you think the media is going to spin it that if the fight doesn't happen, like in the next, let's say, the end of the year, that people are going to swing it that Andy Ruiz is the champ and Deontay Wilder's ducking?
They're going to try to sell the fight as that way. Yeah, they're going to do it. They will. They probably will. I wouldn't be surprised. But the whole point is they're going to marinate the situation, just like they tried to do with Wilder and Joshua, which in my opinion, that fight should have happened last year. This is a lesson to everybody, all these promoters and all these managers behind the scene, when it comes to trying to milk the situation, trying to marinate the process. Do not let it stretch out as far as it should go. This is not Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. All right,
Bob. He could end up pulling a Bob Arum. He could end up with a friggin' in fact, I referenced it. I said this is some Wanma shit. That was some Wanma shit. When Al could make the same mistake. You're absolutely right.
What's up, man? How everybody's doing today?
Bro, what up, man?
We'll see. Go ahead.
Marinate is another word for ducking, bro. That's what I'm saying. Another word for ducking.
Fair enough. But they're marinating as long as they can, so they can build the interest and increase the revenue potential for the big fight.
Yeah, it's all fun and games. It's all fun and games until Heyman sets up the Ruiz in Cowboy Stadium and he gets knocked out by Eric Molina.
Or Deontay Wilder if they do it on Cinco de Mayo.
That would be the goal. That would be the goal. I'm saying if he tries to stretch it out, if Al tries to stretch it out, you know what I mean, he could end up with a catastrophe too.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. We'll go back to Joshua and Wilder because there's some people still in the. Joshua and Ruiz rematch.
Let's see who's getting after you.
Yeah, let's see. Let's just say this. Some people still agree. A lot of people are in agreement that look, the rematch should happen, but it shouldn't happen right away. It should wait a while because of the injuries that.
I don't know. What do we? Listen, hang on.
Just get it out of the way.
How long?
Yeah.
But what are we just? How long are we talking?
Yeah. What are you gonna do? And what are you gonna do in the meantime? We just went through this.
Joshua should take take a tune-up fight. This is what happened. I'm just telling you. I'm gonna make the parallels here. Remember, Doc, you and EJ, we all watched boxing for many years, right? We all remember the Simon Brown and the Terry Norris fight that happened back in '93, right? When Simon Brown, even though it lasted 3 rounds, Simon Brown beat the hell out of Terry Norris in those 3 rounds, okay? Terry Norris didn't go back against Simon Brown immediately after that fight. No, he did not. He took an interim fight, just like Simon Brown did, and then he fought him after that, okay?
He dominated.
Yeah, he beat the hell out of him in the 3 rounds even though it lasted 3 rounds. It was called upset of the year. I don't know why they called that upset of the year, but at the same time, like I said,
you don't think it was?
Well, in hindsight, what Dan's saying is, in hindsight, Simon Brown was a tremendous puncher at welter and super welter, and also in hindsight, Terry Norris didn't have the best. He's a tremendous, great, fantastic fighter, not the best chin in the world.
Oh, terrible! He had terrible punch resistance. But the fact is that he didn't go back in there and get Simon Brown immediately. No, he did not. He needed a fight off, or he needed 1 fight off or 2, so that way he could regroup himself and try to find a better that way he could be better prepared against the style of Simon Brown. What I'm saying is, Joshua should do the same thing.
Okay, well, hang on, Dan. Are you saying that's best for? Are you saying? Go ahead, EJ.
Joshua wants respect on his name. Joshua wants his respect. He ain't getting none. He's gonna get some.
He's pushing his. That's what I said earlier. He's pushing his chips to the middle of it. But Dan, are you saying this is what you think is best for Joshua or for boxing fans?
No, it's for Joshua.
As a boxing. Okay.
As a boxing fan, I see the rematch.
About his health more so than his freaking boxing fans. I don't care what they say.
Go ahead, C's.
Hey man, I just wanted to say, like, as a boxing fan, I would like to see the rematch immediately. Right? I like to see that immediately. I don't like things open-ended, man. Like, we need to get some closure here. Like, is Ruiz really better than AJ, or was it just, did AJ come out flat, like some people said?
Nah, see, this is what the excuses coming in. Let me say this. Not you, C's, but I want to say this. It is, you can bring it up, but one of my problems is that everybody is trying to overflate these excuses to where they're trying to undermine Andy Ruiz as a good fighter.
Exactly.
That's my problem. And number two, Sugar Ray Leonard, before he fought Marvin Hagler, he was getting his ass beat the fuck up by the guys of Quincy Taylor and sparring, and even got dropped. Okay, but he still took his ass in there and beat Marvin Hagler, even though it was
fighters get that work.
And Dan, on the flip side of that, Sugar Ray dragged that Hagler thing up for how many years, right?
Yeah, he dragged it for 5, 6, 7 years.
Hagler lost scoreboard.
About half a decade, man.
Yeah. And it's just like if, in football and you're a passing team and it happens to rain really bad and you're playing in a bunch of muck and mud and you lose because, it turns into that kind of a trench warfare game. No excuses. No excuses.
Yeah, but Doc, I agree with what Dan said.
Hold on, C's. EJ, I'm about to step out for a second. Hold it down for me, all right?
What's that, C's?
No, EJ.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, let's have some parliamentary procedure here. All right, so we're gonna start going down. I'll go it down. All right, so battle. You want to say battle? You want to say because you didn't give your take on the AJ thing. That's what we're talking about. Battle. Okay, battle.
I think personally, just go ahead and do the rematch. I want to see it. I don't want to see no waiting times or whatnot. I mean, I wouldn't expect nothing less from AJ if he took a year off because like I said, I don't really like the heavyweight division like that because they stall fights out. But I think they should just go into the rematch, man. I think Andrew Ruiz, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think Andrew Ruiz is going to take all that time, him getting famous, him getting invited to the president's White House or whatnot, that he's just going to just take his time.
Okay, cool, man. Nice one, battle. Who we got here? Blackline C's. You gave your take?
Yeah, man. Like like I said a few minutes ago, man. Like I want to see it happen ASAP because I feel like I don't really think that. I mean, why should AJ get a warm up fight for what? I mean, for what? Ruiz was a fill-in fighter.
Or either one of them, for that matter.
Right.
So they could, we could have or even both of them slip up, And for all we know, just another. This could happen. Like I wanted the Wilder Fury rematch immediately. What if Fury goes in there and gets knocked out?
I respect AJ for saying that he wanted the rematch immediately. I respect AJ.
Me too. That's what I say. He's pushed his chips all the way to the middle, to the middle of the table here.
And
that's
also,
like make or break.
I also respect the fact that he's not making excuses, even though everyone else around him is making excuses for him. And to be honest, that's not a good enough excuse that you got rocked. You got rocked in sparring. I mean, that happens all the time. Sometimes you get work in sparring.
Or like we said about the panic attacks. Mike Tyson used to cry before fights, and he knocked people out still. So it's
Yeah, people really do so much stuff. Mr. Doc, yeah. So have you got the outside chat?
What's up?
Have you got the outside chat?
I can pull it up. And see.
Yeah, you start reading up some stuff. So Mr. Doc, so you start reading up some stuff what people are saying. While you guys in the chat, big up. Make sure you give the thumbs up on Dan's channel. Make sure you sub on to my channel as well, EJ Boxer Live, and the rest of them. I visit support everyone else.
Okay, we got Malice in. He'd be surprised if AJ avoided the rematch because his pride's been dented. Texan saying recently said he wants to get in the U.S., but he's not so sure. He doesn't think it should be immediate for whatever reason. Let's see, Amir Shehu said, Al gonna let Ruiz ride for a year, get some money, then feed him to Wilder. What do you guys think about any of that stuff?
No, let's keep Uncle. Just keep the
Keep going.
Yeah, give them some shine. Give them some shine.
AJ needs to, let's see. From what I hear, that AJ needs to sort of stamina out, no matter what technical adjustments. AJ gonna gas. Basically saying the gas problem tank's always going to be a problem for AJ.
Shit.
See, Amir saying he could, or AJ could wait and beat the man that beats the man. I guess what he's saying is let Ruiz lose to someone else than try and take that guy out. Because remember, Ali didn't fight Frazier immediately in the rematch. He fought like he about to fight quite a few people out.
The first time he got his ass whipped though, I don't blame him.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, would you guys say that AJ? My bad, Battle. What'd you say?
Go ahead, bro. I was just doing the timeline thing.
Oh no, my bad. No, I was just saying. Would you say that AJ got tired quicker than like usual? Like it seemed like he was gassed by like round 3 or round
I don't know if so much tired he was just punched in the head, and you know what I mean. I don't think he ever recovered from the temple shot.
I'd say no. I mean, I've seen AJ gas in fights just as quick, like with Povetkin and maybe not Dylan White. He was. I seen like he was actually energized for like the first half. I ain't say he gassed that quick, but I've seen him gas really quick with Carlos Takam. So I mean, I don't think that's really is a surprise to me.
I got you know what, you brought up a good point there, Battle. The AJ Dylan White fight. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it right after the round, or wasn't it? Yeah, wasn't the round where they had the big fight between the quarters and they almost ended up, DQing somebody?
Yeah.
Not the same round. Mm-hmm. Not the same round where Dylan buzzed AJ. Because remember they had like 2 or 3 guys having to hold Dylan back in the corner. People were throwing shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember that. I think I remember when Dylan White threw that rabbit punch.
You just now made me realize, Battle, that maybe in hindsight, maybe AJ got that extra time because of the fracas paid off for him, and we didn't. You know what I'm trying to say? We might not. We might have uncovered the some deficiencies earlier if not for that.
So you're saying Dylan White could have won that fight if not the corners on the field?
I don't know. I'm just saying, in hindsight, maybe you know what I mean. Maybe that paid off more for AJ than anybody realized at the time.
The thing is, when he was going down, see, this is the thing. When AJ got hit, when he was going down, he got hit with another one.
The temple shot.
Yeah, like Fury got hit with another shot by Wilder when he was going down as well. That's why people give Fury so much credit. But listen, we're in the ages. What have you done for me lately? That's what we care about. What we done with lately? Bro, we're in an era, yeah, where probably like 5 seconds, we got people's minds like fish. They forget things. So all that other stuff doesn't matter. All it matters about how do you come back and what do you do. So I really and truly, AJ did get hit, and there was no problem. He recovered and he did what he did. But this time there was a guy he's the fastest hand you ever seen in the heavyweight division, and he followed up and finished AJ out. And there's nothing more into that. Go ahead, Doc. Keep reading the chat.
I got a good one. We got a good one here. Malice says, you're talking about we were saying earlier about the odds, right? He says AJ has the body of an Adonis. He got beat up by a guy who looks like he lives at McDonald's. The Instagram generation can't cope with it. I think that's so funny. It's an Instagram.
Why should that matter, though? Are we going to pretend that heavyweight?
It's a social media thing that he's making a point about battle.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but are people gonna? Okay, maybe a lot of people just don't. I mean, I get what you're saying. A lot of people just probably don't really watch boxing like that to understand what the heavyweight division is. But I mean, we can't.
I thought Dwyer made a really good point. You know, there's a difference not just between bodybuilding and boxing, but bodybuilding and athletics. Being an athlete, Ruiz is still an athlete. It's kind of like offensive line in the NFL. But go ahead,
You're good. I was just saying that the thing is, like, as fans, I know some people I know people are having a good time. I get it. Some people just like to make jokes that like you got to be.
Yeah, he's built like Ruiz is built like Tank Abbott. You know what was Tank Abbott in the UFC? He was very, very dominant.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Guy. Yeah. Tank was a knockout guy too.
Yeah, that's what he was. He was a knockout. He knew he'd drink beer, knock you out, like John L. Sullivan. You know, that's what you look at. John L. Sullivan and Andy Ruiz, they're very similar. If you get in there, if you get in things, but now have to beat them, Mr.
But you can't compare them to Butterbean.
Let me finish what I'm saying. Box them, outbox them, and wear them down, and then you can take them up. Brother, I can compare him. I'm telling you, the guy, he's obviously the heavyweight champion in the world. Like, do you know John L. Sullivan is? The guy, listen, you see, actually, to be fair, John L. Sullivan was quite muscular, actually. We actually see him at the end of his career. But what I'm trying to say to you is that Tank Abbott probably more appropriate. Tank Abbott, when they saw him, was like, yo, who's this guy with a big ZZ Top lookalike, big belly?
Fat ZZ Top.
ZZ Top.
They thought they could hang him up, man. They thought they could hang him up, bro. And Ruiz has got hands, bro. He's got hands. There's no doubt about it here, but no matter how you look, that guy's got hands.
But EJ, what about his power though, EJ? Do you think he's like?
Bro, look at AJ's face in the first round, and you told me, and look at Parker's face. They both had that look on their face, like,
you know what? I got it. You're right. I got to go back and watch that Parker fight. Watch it again.
I like the example of Tank Abbott knocked out lots of people with better physiques.
Yes. but no, the reason why I ask is I just wondered, like Ruiz, I know he has a good KO percentage, but I'm just wondering, like, is his power really that for him to do what he do what he did to AJ in the fashion in which he did it?
It's heavyweight boxing.
It's also, I think, especially once it was at close quarters, I think a lot of those punches AJ didn't even see coming because of the hand speed.
He never recovered though from the knockdown. Like his equilibrium went from there. I think.
Yeah, sure, but that doesn't.
He got dropped.
He's still a knockdown. It's still a knockdown.
You know the third round, the second knockdown was with a jab. Basically, just jabbed him.
Yeah, well, he was on the way down where the jab landed, bro. I know.
You know that taught me. I don't want to just like crap on Ruiz's shot at getting him hurt, but it really reminded me how hard it is to recover when you get hit in that ring, because I remember Bivol got hit by what's the guy? What's the guy he fought last? I forget his name. Wow.
Joe Smith?
Joe Smith Jr. Sullivan.
Joe Smith buzzed him. I remember one of the early rounds. You're right.
And Bivol, he went on retreat. He had to hold on because, like, I think he got hit like straight in like the forehead or something. It wasn't the equilibrium shot. It wasn't the same, but he was pretty buzzed and he was trying to hold on for dear life because, you know, those punches hurt in that ring. It's hard to like.
And he got a bit of criticism too because he boxed very cautiously the rest of the fight. He was very patient. Just took his time and won the rounds.
All right, but did he look flat before he got knocked down? In other words, he looked pretty on point when he knocked down Ruiz, bro. Like that was a nice combination.
There's
So
nothing
it's
wrong with
like,
it. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, like he looked real nice, dog. He looked patient, and he looked, that combination was nice. Like that wasn't an easy combination.
We
That
all
was a fucking
thought,
right uppercut with a left hook, dog. That was
when
nice.
Ruiz got up, we all thought, okay, it's going to be over here pretty soon. I think we all thought.
You know what my prediction was for the fight? I thought AJ was going to wear him by unanimous decision. I just didn't think Ruiz was the type of person just to get knocked out like that. Like, and he didn't, but I thought that when he got knocked down because Joseph Parker is a good hitter and he didn't get Andy Ruiz hurt not one bit. So
I thought 10-1 was a bit excessive in terms of the odds. And I thought, he had an outside shot. I thought he was maybe a little underestimated, but even I totally underestimated.
Yo, Doc, you want to hear something crazy? Like that combination that he dropped Ruiz with was so nice, bro. It was a right uppercut, his signature uppercut.
Yeah.
Followed by a left hook, sunk Ruiz down. But after that, Ruiz didn't budge one fucking time after he got up. He walked through his left hook the whole fight. Like he walked through AJ's left hook the whole fight. That fight, it was just crazy to see.
He beat him in the You got to remember, he beat him in the exchange twice after he got it.
But I mean, like the other rounds, like I'm not talking.
I know. What I'm trying to say is he gained the confidence. He realized, hey, I can beat him in the exchanges. You get what I'm trying to say? Once that part of I mean, obviously there's physiological limitations. Right. Part of taking punches is also psychological. You get what I'm trying to say? Like if you if you know for sure you can hit harder than someone else, right? In your own mind, you're gonna take a punch. It's a little bit better. Yeah, exactly.
No, but that's not. There you go. That's nothing. Confidence, man. That guy, regardless of how I think about him or how people think he looks, confident, man. Biggie Smalls had the same kind of thing. If you look at Biggie Smalls, the rapper, he when you heard him talk, the way his swagger was. Bro, he didn't think who he was, and Ruiz though, even though you might look at him and think a certain way, he don't believe who you think he is. In his mind, he's the Hulk. He's Superman, and if I hit you, you're going down. That's what he believes, and he's gonna show it. Go ahead. What's up, YG? Go ahead, Doc. Hey, Doc, you reading the comments, bro. Go ahead.
Let's see what we got here. Where did I leave off? There's something about the Instagram thing. Go ahead, real quick. I forgot to find where I left off with it.
Yo, what's good, fellas?
What up, YG?
Yo, what's up, YG?
Yeah, what up, bro? What up?
YG, give us your take on AJ real quick, and then Doc, you do the comments after in the chat. Go ahead, YG.
No, well, even though I seen that, but what I just was startled by that Eddie Hearn said that if Deontay Wilder doesn't fight Dillian White, he's suing them.
He said if they fight the third time, the trilogy. So they're gonna have a rematch, which I think is already they've done a gentleman's agreement. But he's saying if they do the third fight and White still hasn't got a title shot, then he's gonna try and sue the WBC. I just seen that on Facebook.
That's crazy because nobody was threatening to sue him, right? When he was doing it, when he was fucking freezing out everyone else, right? When he was freezing out Wilder.
Who did he freeze out?
Hearn. Right.
Which fight are you talking about?
I mean, when Wilder wanted to fight him back in the day, in a year and a half ago, they were prolonging the fight. Like he's on record.
This is different. The mandatory.
I know, right? No. I know what you're saying. You're talking about for the Dillian White fight, right? The mandatory, right?
Dillian White for Wilder. Yeah. So they want Dillian White to be, if he beats Rivas, they want him to be the mandatory challenger. But what Wilder and his team are saying, they've already got agreement after Ortiz and Fury. I think they got Kanaki lined up as well. They want the Fury fight to be a third fight. I don't know how that makes sense though. If Wilder wins the second fight by knockout, is there really a point in getting a third fight?
No, they said no second fight. They said no Fury 2.
Let me see
White
this.
over the suit.
Nah, what I just saw Hearn say on Boxing Scene, he's saying that there will be no he's going to intervene between that fight.
Nah, it's his trilogy.
Between the rematch.
Yeah.
Look, sounds like boxing promoters being boxing promoters. Like I said, they're gonna inevitably, of course, they're gonna try and jockey for position and all of this kind of crap.
No, but look, Michael Benson put the tweet. Look, Eddie Hearn has declared that the reportedly agreed Wilder Fury trilogy.
Let YG get in there.
I was about to say, actually, he got to do that because right now his stable has no titles, and for Dillian White, he got to show some type of effort of yo, I'm fighting for you. So you're right. I mean, he's just blowing smoke right now.
But they shouldn't be allowed to fight 3 times.
His lawyers is not gonna get the WBC to overturn a fight. Like that shit's not happening.
Not a fight of that magnitude.
And it's not even. And basically, if he's not suing Wilder. He's suing the WBC because they sanctioned the fight when he's the #1 contender. So it's like he's not suing Wilder. He's suing the WBC.
Yeah. Obviously, he'd sue the sanctioning body.
So what's besides Wilder versus AJ? I still feel like that's the fight to see at heavyweight. Even though AJ just suffered a horrible loss, I feel like he's gonna bounce back. So I still feel like that's the fight we want to see at heavyweight.
I mean, there's a couple.
So hold on, YG. So besides AJ versus Wilder, what's the next best fight that we can see at heavyweight right now? What's the next best fight?
I don't even know why people still want to see that. AJ needs to rebuild. If he looks bad in the rematch,
I agree with him. It's still in a fury against Wilder. And
everybody agree with that?
Yeah. Well, hold on. I agree with Ahmed. There's no point in seeing that fight right now. There's no point because AJ is going to have to really work himself to get back into that consideration for that fight.
Okay, hang on.
So what we have that? What's the next best fight at heavyweight thing, Dan?
Well, if you have Ruiz versus Joshua coming up, then you got Wilder versus Fury. Those are the only 2 fights that matter at this point.
I know what you mean. But let's not rebuild. There's no rebuilding in this. Yeah, you already sink deep. There's no more AJ's on that 20 fights and he's only. There's no more of that no more.
What if in the rematch AJ's getting dropped?
Let me finish what I'm saying.
Let him finish. Go ahead,
you guys need to stop cutting him and let people finish their whole points, right? What I'm just saying is that when you lose a fight, right, when you're heavyweight champ, you're now on the ladder trying to come back. There's no easy fights no more. What you got to do right now, you either fight for the championship or you get lost in the shuffle. You know what I mean? It don't matter if you're the cash cow, bro. You either fight or you ain't gonna have no easy fights. Reason why I say that, because the media not gonna let you. They're not gonna let you fight no easy bum. And that's what you were trying to do anyway. You looked at him and thought he was a bum. So now you have to fight him or get the hell out of the division. And that's what it is.
No, this one EJ ain't playing, man.
I hear that, but there's still some other guys that we would like to see AJ fight. There's a couple of people that need to prove themselves too. Like
that's fair, YG. Based off what we saw last Saturday night, Wilder's going to kill AJ. He's going to kill him, man.
Well, hang on. We're not even really debating. The question isn't who do we think wins. We're asking what would we watch. I mean, I'd still watch AJ Wilder. It's clearly clearly not nearly the as big a fight now, obviously, but I'd still watch it. It's still an important fight. I mean, is AJ still a top 10 heavyweight, guys? Yeah. I think to me Ruiz is a top 10 heavyweight.
I'd rather see Ruiz than Wilder. If Ruiz wins the rematch, man, come on, that's the fight. Ruiz Wilder, hold the belt.
Go ahead. Yeah, Ahmed's got a good point. He's got a good point.
So that's the fight. That's what everybody agree on.
Hold on. One at a time, everybody. One at a time. Go ahead, Tease.
No, I'm saying so. I guess it's a consensus agreement, right? We're all in agreement that the best fight to be made right now is Ruiz versus Wilder, right?
Yeah,
it is.
Okay, so just like
that'd be because that'd be undisputed. That's of course you're gonna want that.
Hey, what's funny? When that fight was out, people arguing whether that fight should be pay-per-view.
You know what?
Hold on. I think Luis versus this guy that the guy that be fighting in Brooklyn. I'll not pronounce his name.
Big Baby Miller?
No. The Polish guy.
Yeah,
Kawanaki.
Yeah. He's fighting Ariola.
Hey, what at a time, guys? Go ahead, YG, finish up.
Him versus what you call it be a better fight than Wilder. I don't like that matchup Wilder versus what you call it. I rather see what you call it fight him or Dillian White before Wilder, because I already know Wilder gonna destroy him. That's not, to me, in my opinion. I think
Dillian White might beat him.
You guys didn't answer this question though. You ain't said like. People ain't answered. The people were laughing that this was pay-per-view. They were saying that they were saying, why should people pay their money for that fight? Now, I put it to you. how much is the pay-per-view going to be worth? Is it $100? If it's $100, would you do the Mexican pay? Actually, you know what? It's on the
They'll
zone.
pay. They'll pay, bro.
Oh, it's on the zone. You don't have to pay, right? $10. You know the zone's the winner right here. The zone's going to get more subscribers.
Yeah, because, well, heck, like you said, this has gotten so much attention. You know what I mean? And from their perspective, they're just the platform. So any what do you call it? Any publicity is good publicity for them.
Oh, what about this one? Hey, what about this one?
The problem with that, EJ, let me just say something. The problem with that is that they don't know Ruiz is not the zone fighter. That's the problem.
Right. They swear he's in the zone fighter.
But the rematch will be on the zone.
Hey, this is out.
No, I thought it was a purse bid.
EJ, finish. Go ahead, EJ. Finish.
Al Heyman's genius. This is what I'm saying. So this is Al Heyman's genius now. Take the fight off the zone, right? Put it on Showtime, and let's get some pay-per-view.
He signed a contract, man.
Yeah.
I spoke to Ring IQ. One sec.
Yeah,
Well,
that shit. That's
Wait, hold on, YG. Hold on, YG, hold up. Let EJ and Hamed finish. Go ahead, EJ. Finish up, then Hamed get back.
I don't know what contract has been signed because I know that he was a voluntary. So I don't know what all I know is a voluntary for him to fight AJ, but they didn't know what platform. What I'm trying to say to you is that now there's going to be a bidding war on between Showtime and the zone to see who's going to pay. And I'll tell you what, bro, if I was Showtime, I secure that deal because that's a multi-million-dollar fight. You can put the pay-per-view revenue and you can bring people over to Showtime. If I'm Al Heyman, I cannot let that go on the zone. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead, guys.
This is what I was going to say. I spoke to Ring IQ the other day on Facebook. He said that in the contract that they had stipulated that from Team Joshua, this is what he heard. So I don't know if it's official.
That's good
So he
sources.
said, he said, one second, let me just say.
Let me finish it.
He said that it says that Ruiz in the contract. It said that Ruiz, if he wins the fight, the rematch, he signed a 2-fight deal with Matchroom and DAZN. That's assuming he won the first fight, which he has.
Well, can I respond to that?
No. The deal, right, is with Matchroom. It's not with the zone. The platform is the platform. It doesn't work like that. When you go, what it is, if you're saying that means you're saying the zone paid Ruiz, which was the case.
But EJ, doesn't Matchroom decide the platform?
Wait, hold up. Let me answer that real quickly. First of all, let me answer that real quickly, EJ. Then you can make it. Let me answer.
Yeah, 1 minute though. Let me get in.
Okay. Go ahead.
They've got control on the negotiation. When you sign a contract, right? Your contract is the rematch clause on backward. The network is decided by the winner, right? Decided by the winner. So Ruiz is one, right? Now the negotiation. Remember, it's purse bid, right? That's why it's called boxing. You fight for a purse. Whoever bids the most money for the platform. That's why Ivy Hearn just recently come out and said the fight. There's like 7 countries in the running where the fight. Nigeria, you got Dubai, all these other countries, and all the platforms. They're all up.
That's location.
No, I know that's location, but all these countries, yeah, right, where they fight, and then the networks as well. The networks are going to be big for the fight. They're not going to just give you up.
They haven't mentioned the network once.
Al Heyman, right? Al Heyman, that's an Al Heyman fighter. Al Heyman has Fox, and he also has Showtime. They're not going to let the champion of the world in Mexico go on another platform. The zone. So, okay, you got
right.
But if it's in the contract,
well, can I say something, Ahmed? Hold on, can I say something, EJ? I got to challenge Ring IQ on this one. I know he's not here to defend his points, but how does he know that? Because Eddie Hearn never said that. All Eddie Hearn said is that we have a right to rematch clause. We would like to have it happen in the UK, but more likely we'll do it in America. That's all he said.
Right. See that? Look, right. So he's like, he doesn't have the power to make it work.
See this? The only person we heard it from is Hamid. So
I want to rebuttal that once.
I'm going to say Hamid said it, not Ring IQ. Go ahead. That's what I'm saying.
All right, this is what. If we all know there's a rematch clause, so we could all get that out the way. All right, that's right. That's factual. Yeah. The other point was that he's signed to the rematch, and the rematch, I don't know what the source was. So I think Julius gotta let me know. I'm gonna have to ask him again.
Yeah, you're gonna have to ask him. Yeah, because that's unusual. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
But what he said was that he signed a 2-fight. If he won the first fight, 2-fight deal with Matchroom. Now the location wasn't sealed.
Really? So has a 2-fight deal with Matchroom? Really? How does he know that? Eddie Hearn never said that.
No, if he beat Joshua, the rematch is the second.
Who's the source? There's none of that has gone out. None of that has ever gone out. You're making that up, man.
Let
Hamed finish up. Let Hamed finish up. DJ, you get back in. Go ahead, Hamed. Finish up.
The first fight with Joshua, that's out the way. That's if he won. I think that's what he said. I'm gonna have to check with him what he meant, but that's what he told me. So the rematch is the second fight, and then he said he's free if he wins a rematch. Then Al Heyman could get him to fight on anything. But the location wasn't in the contract. Location not in the contract.
Let me say so. This is how it works, right? Because
I don't know if the location is.
Matchroom had Nigel Benn and had Chris Eubank, right? And like when the first one happened, they said for the second fight, Don King came on to get the American TV deal to came over. I think time or whatever it was, right? So they brought him over. Now the rematch when they had it, the rematch for the fight, they had another rematch. If whoever won or lost, the only thing they didn't factor in was a draw because he went to a draw. Therefore, everything was non-involved, so they didn't have another fight after Eubank and Benn. This fight has a rematch because you can win. The problem is that you go where the most money is. Now, the most money, the zone wants them people to get subscribers, which they've done. Now, for them to build their platform, right, they need subscribers, so it's guaranteed they want that fight in. So they're probably going to put the deal to Ruiz. But he's an Al Heyman fighter. You're going to have to talk to Al Heyman because he's the advisor. Therefore, in my opinion, that fight goes to Showtime, and they put the money up where he can get the max money. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because he's not a zone fighter yet, right? As far as I understand, he's still on the contract to Al Heyman. So if you put it on Showtime, you can increase the revenue on the pay-per-view. Joshua on the other hand, listen.
I'll let you finish. Go ahead, VJ. Finish up.
Joshua is doing a fight-by-fight with the zone. Everyone knows that, right? One fight deal. So Joshua can go on another network as well. Match, they're going to go on Showtime and they can increase the pay-per-view where therefore the zone gets shut out. I believe the zone gets shut out and they put that fight on Showtime and they can put it at least about $70 or $80 per piece and everyone gets paid. That's what I feel. Go ahead.
Yeah, but hold on, because now what Hamed's saying makes more sense though, because if you manage Anthony Joshua, right? If somebody beats you, you have the rematch clause. The rematch clause will be on your network, but
no, it doesn't. YG. YG, can I
think about it?
It can, but it doesn't necessarily.
Let me finish because think about it. It's the same thing like Canelo, right? If Canelo was to lose a fight to another fighter, his rematch for his title would be right back on the zone because let's
say he fought Charlo. Let's use the example of Charlo. Say he lost to Charlo. What would happen?
If he signed to fight Charlo, he's gonna sign to fight Charlo for a 2-fight deal. If he lose, he get a rematch. The site might not be in the rematch, but the network.
What
is
about
bargaining
rematch? Right.
The network is going to be the net.
The only difference, YG, is that Joshua's on a fight-by-fight basis. Canelo's locked in for several years. That's
you guys are missing the point though. In the contract, if it said Joshua lost, it's a good.
Got a fight-by-fight basis with the zone.
Yeah, he's fighting one fight deal. That the last fight was 40 mil. That's what I'm gonna say to you. And that's why Joshua didn't want. See, with Joshua's a Sky fighter. He has a contract with Sky and Matchroom. Yeah, with the zone, it's like he's basically Joshua's fighting on that network to promote the zone, helping Eddie Hearn out. Right now, when it comes down to the money, you tell me, right? So they gave Joshua 40 mil, right? Ruiz got some money as well for the fight. Now you tell me how much money can they earn from the zone, which is £10 thing, or going on to Showtime. You earn more money. And listen to this. All the Mexican audience can see that. That's another reason as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Go ahead, Dan. Tell him. Go ahead, Dan. Talk.
Because here's the thing. The Mexican demographic lives in majority of rural America. That's where they That's where they live at. And in rural America, broadband is not really accessible. So you can't access the zone there. So the only thing you can do is that they can go to a bar or to a restaurant and watch a fight, on pay-per-view fight, and Andy Ruiz can actually capture to that demographic over there. He could do that. They can make more money in that situation by putting it on Showtime pay-per-view or Fox pay-per-view. That's the only way they're going to do it. And the networks, as you say, EJ, the networks is going to bid for that. And Showtime and Fox is going to bid for it.
Who's going to buy that?
Huh?
Who's going
to got more?
They do. More money. They Fox and Showtime. Listen, you put it on Fox.
Showtime got more money than Fox.
Combine Fox, combine Showtime, where basically the undercard is going to be on Fox and the main event is going to be on Showtime. It's a wrap, bro. They make because they're going to say to you, look, you're going to get the maximum of your audience in America to eat access to fight. You can put up to $8 because they know they're going to get a great.
Both stations can telecast the fight.
Me
like
personally,
What if he said in the what if he
whether Ruiz wins or loses, this understand. Whether Ruiz wins or loses, he's gonna be looked after for the rest of his life, 100%. Because $80 or near $100 probably extreme. I'm going with 80, right? I'll go with $80 per pay-per-view. He gets a cut out of that, this and that. He's gonna be looked after. Whether he comes in fat, whatever that, it doesn't matter. He's gonna be looked after. He might not need to fight again. All I say to you is that if you're Al Heyman, you secure that deal on that network. And I think Matchroom, listen to Matchroom, end of the day, they like the zone and they had it on their network. But bro, how many people actually, what's the name again? Clarissa Shields and all them people, they've been on the zone. How come they didn't stay there? How come none of them guys stay there? They stood there and they said, yo, it's okay. I'm going back to Showtime. So I'm telling you, it's going to be on Showtime.
But what if he put in the contract that Hearn and them dictate to what network the rematch is on? That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, we don't
exactly, Dan.
You can create a narrative that's not there.
Money dictates the networks, bro.
Yeah, that's right.
Ruiz signed whatever he signed.
No, listen. If Joshua had a 2-fight deal where therefore he was locked in, then you know it's going to be on film. But that wasn't the case. It was a 1-fight deal, and because it's a 1-fight deal, everything's up to grab. That's what if Eddie Hearn after he was upset, but then they saw the numbers with Al Heyman and them guys. That's why I heard reporting from Baylor TV, Ingram Jones on World Breakers thing. He heard repeatedly that Al Heyman is meeting with Eddie Hearn. Heard there's a meetings right now because they sat down and said, listen, this is huge. You know how much money we can make here. And Eddie Hearn is meeting with Al Heyman, not the zone. Eddie Hearn, Al Heyman sitting down and saying, listen, your guy and our guy, we can make millions. Because they know
we know there's a rematch. Look, people keep saying.
But hang on, Hamed, here's the thing.
You're not going to make that much money on the zone because there's a set budget of how much the fighter gets the money, right? But then you're locked into a contract with Joshua don't want to do. So you can make the max money in one fight on Showtime more than the zone. That's what I'm saying. I'm done.
What are you going to say if it goes to the zone then?
Well, then that would mean the contract. We don't know. We don't. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I want to hear what because he's the one who's talking.
I know. I'm asking because I understand about this is prize fighting. I know understanding about belts, but this is prize fighting, right? When it comes to prize fighting, the person who bids and puts the most money in, that's where it goes because you're gonna get the most money. You get more money on Showtime you can ever get on the zone. The zone, what the zone do? They pay a little certain money for the fighter, right? And you're locked in. Yeah, you're secure, but you're also trapped in that contract. You can't come out, as you saw with Triple G in some fucking bullshit fights to promote their network. Well, boy, Joshua's done that. He's promoted their network. Now it's about getting paid. It's always going to be about getting money. Bro, if you look at Showtime, there's more money you can make on Showtime than you could ever do on the zone. It don't make no sense.
Yeah, AJ, hold up, about. Just to make a correction on who Al Heyman is talking to, he's actually talking to Sky Sports on locking a deal with them. He hasn't talked to Eddie Hearn yet.
Who's Sky Sports? Who's Sky Sports? Who's Sky Sports?
Adam Smith.
No. I mean, Sky Sports and Eddie Hearn, they're together.
They are together. Yeah, so.
Okay,
but there's no zone over there, EJ. You remember? Hang on, guys.
Hold on, Mr. Doc. Get in, Mr. Doc. Get in.
What you got to remember? There's no DAZN over there, so no matter who carries it over here, Sky Sports is going to be the one carrying it over there, whether it's on show. Correct me again if I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure, regardless of whether Showtime or DAZN carries it here, Sky is going to be the one carrying it there.
Yeah, Joshua has a contract with Sky Sports.
That's a very good point because Sky Sports has the UK and DAZN is trying to take that market. So that's like when they talk to Sky is going to tell Eddie what they want to do because there's more money on the pay-per-view to make over in the UK. Remember again, Sky is obviously...
And that's a good point too, EJ, because people have already been kind of wondering whether Eddie's got a conflict of interest between DAZN and Sky.
Yeah.
Well, he's done his job. He's done his job of putting his fighters on their platform and showing their platform. It's up to other people to subscribe if they want to subscribe. But what I'm talking about, when it comes to the pay, Eddie has never said, I'm getting rid of the pay-per-view. That's what the zone is trying to say. But let me tell you something. when people know they in every country and everywhere, there's more audience, more wild audience can get on Showtime and Sky Sports than they can on the Zone. Because me, I can't get the Zone. I know I can't get the Zone. Only way I can watch is through Sky. So at the end of the day, it's a bigger audience on Showtime. And I'll tell you, I hear what Hamid said, and it's good that Hamid saying that. But I'm saying it's on Showtime. I'm saying that's my opinion.
That's why you trying to boost the price up on us over here. Trying to
Me?
get them
We mean
EJ wants us to pay. EJ wants us to pay $80.
What I talk, y'all. What I talk.
Control. You be promoting. I keep trying to tell this man that like listen, like me as a boxing fan, I need more fighters to go to the Zone.
You got the Zone, right? You got the Zone, right?
We just heard you Babylon for mad long.
Let YG finish. Go ahead, YG. Finish up, man.
Like he want that fight to go over off the Zone to be on that on the pay-per-view platform. Like, and then that means that us over here, we gotta pay $80 to see Joshua get knocked off in 4 to 5 rounds. Like, nah, get out of here. I'll keep that fight on the Zone and see it for $20. Because you got I'm not into because I know because you don't get the Zone, so you take to shit on it because you can't watch it. So you shit on it.
Hold up. EJ's not shitting on the Zone. He's just telling you the logistics. No, he's not. Hold up. YG.
EJ's just saying he just thinks Showtime will put up more money, which is really what it really comes down to more than who has more money. It's who's willing to put up the most money.
But
this is all hypothetical. We don't know what's in the contract.
Hold on, time out. As a fan, why will we care about who's paying the most money to pay these fighters? That fighter's already.
I don't think. Ask EJ. I don't think EJ cares about that. EJ's not going to lose sleep if we pay $10.
My point. Why are we having a conversation about what network should
show? You want to know why?
That's how bad. Ask how bad. That's how bad.
You want to know why, YG? I can sum it down because
battle. Hold up. Let YG finish. YG, finish up, man.
But back to that, I don't want I'm kind of glad they getting off this pay-per-view madness. That $80 for these fights, that shit, get that out of here.
Well, let me ask you this, YG. Let me ask you this. First things first, the pay-per-view market is not going anywhere. I don't care what anybody said. That's not leaving. No, it's not leaving. It's not going to happen. If it does, the only thing what could happen to is that they will decrease the prices on it in the future. That could happen. Number one. Number two,
long-term, Dan.
Maybe in long term they will do it. Yeah, long term they will do it. But let me ask you this, YG: would you not pay $80 to see Wilder versus Ruiz, or even Wilder versus Joshua if Joshua gets back into the form that he was?
Would you not pay $20?
No, I'm saying.
That's dumb.
You have a choice. Look, we can't control what networks the fights is going to go, man. I'm just being.
This is what I'm trying to see. People.
We don't have the control of that. Wherever the platform the fight's going to go. If it's there and it's your opportunity to watch it, it's a very good fight. Would you not pay for it?
We just want to see it, man. We want to
see
exactly.
Yeah, but this was the point, though.
Let me go back to YG. YG is purchased. That's the problem. YG's purchased the Zone and he wants it on there.
Yeah, I get that. But here's my point is though, Andy Ruiz. Here's the thing: Andy Ruiz is the next heavyweight Canelo. He's positioned to be in that position. That fan base access to the Zone. I'm just keeping it real. Most of them don't.
Is talking about? He's already signed a contract.
Wait. Dan, can I say something?
Hold on.
Dan.
One at a time. Let Dan run his channel.
No, let me run it real quickly. Ahmed, how do you know that Ruiz signed a contract with the Zone? How do you know that?
No, I'm saying he's got a rematch clause. The contract.
Then how do we know that rematch is going to be on the Zone? Where's this state at? Because Eddie Hearn didn't say that.
Let me explain that one second.
Okay.
So Joshua has got a 5x5 basis. He hasn't fought on Showtime since the Joseph Parker fight. Now, I don't know what they put in the contract. I agree. We don't know. We're arguing over something. We have no idea. But it's most likely that Joshua and his team will want it on the Zone. Now, whether or not they get outbidded, we'll never know. But what I'm trying to say is he is guaranteed the rematch according to the contract. Or I don't know if Ruiz, what they stipulated for Ruiz, because if you guys are saying Showtime outbid him, then that's a different story. But it looks like Joshua and his team will want it on the zone because you fought Povetkin on there, and then you
absolutely. Absolutely. And here's the thing. I don't mind it because I'm a zone describer myself. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't care. As long as I can get to see the fight. My point is that it's all about money at the end of the day. These networks are going to outbid each other. More likely Showtime will outbid for that fight. They will do it. They will put a lot of money into it, and they will do it. Now that Andy Ruiz is in a position now to bring them money now, they will do it. And they will bid.
Well, it could. Well, they'd be bidding against. That'd be Al bidding against himself, wouldn't it?
Technically, yeah.
No, because not bidding against yourself.
Things to say against that.
Let EJ get in battle. Hold up. No, you get in battle after EJ. EJ, get in.
Al Heyman, they have to secure the heavyweight championship of the world, regardless what happens. Right? They're gonna make money. They can even have a third fight. Right? They secure because Joshua is okay. Regardless what happens, Joshua still lost to him. Right? So you have a third fight. You have to go where you can make the max money. Joshua got 40 mil from the zone. The zone's going to say to him, look, in the rematch, we're going to give you 60 mil. Joshua goes, woo, that's a lot of money. How much Showtime's going to give you? Showtime's going to say, you're going to get a cut of the gate, and we're going to give you 80 mil. What you said? Right? Andy Ruiz is going to get like 40. What you said?
Oh, not only that, Showtime will give him a percentage of the pay-per-view, too.
Yeah. That's true. And they come back. There's the thing about the zone. They can't give you a cut of the pay-per-view. They just give you a set price. Now they're gonna come back and forth. But I think when it's all said and done, Showtime. If you look at Mayweather, right, and all them other guys, right, if you're gonna think about where you're gonna go, okay, let me give you an example. The biggest fight in history. Where was it? It was on HBO and Showtime. Manny Pacquiao, Mayweather, right? Second biggest fight, Conor McGregor, Mayweather. These now, the numbers they can get on that, it could be comparable to the same. So when Showtime come, go look, this is the biggest fights we've had. What about this? What's the zone done? What have they done the biggest fights in history that the whole world can access? You tell me.
I think I'm just ready.
That's a good point.
YG's bought into the zone thing, right? And I agree with YG. I've seen this zone thing. When the zone does their boxing, bro, no, I can't get no live streams. I can't get. If I could get live streams, I'll be cool. I couldn't get nothing. I'm not supportive of the zone because I believe that they can lock me off. When they're ready to lock me off, you can't access them. Showtime, I get streams all day. I'm the same.
But let me say this. Hold on, YG, hold on. And I'll let you get after I say this. I will also further say that Showtime can also pitch in what they did with the Wilder Fury fight and say, look, here's the deal. Nobody thought we would be successful in that pay-per-view fight. We were. So if you think about it, now that the heavyweight division scene is hot in the United States now, they can capitalize on it. That's all I got to say. But go ahead, YG.
Because I was about to say before you said it'd be they'd be bidding against themselves, but with the Fox and because Fox would almost be, I think it'd be better that it'll be on Fox. Yeah. Because like how y'all was saying earlier, they could do the undercard on Fox and then have the pay-per-view on pay-per-view. The like how they do that before, like what you call it, and then all the way up to it, they will be promoting it. Like they will be promoting that fight, doing the baseball coverage, because the fight is going to be in November. So that means Fox will be promoting the fight during the World Series.
Can I see something? I just posted that.
If it goes on Fox. And on top of that, though, the only thing I was saying about if it goes on these pay-per-view channels, they're going to negotiate and bid against each other. And then they're going to give them a whole bunch of money. Then they're going to turn around to us, like me and you, Dan, and they're going to ask us for $100.
Well, and here would be I think here'd be one of the arguments. Yeah, me too. I know. Yeah, I got the zone too, man. I know what's up. Here'd be the thing, Dan. Is like EJ mentioned Floyd versus Pacquiao, Floyd versus McGregor, right?
Yeah,
and the Wilder Fury fight was a big fight. Yeah, but there's a gigantic gap. Yeah, and again, a gigantic gap in terms of how successful Floyd was in any of his fights.
Well,
and it's not just it's not just a matter of Floyd. I mean, the market just isn't what it was. It just
that's true. I agree to that. But let's be real. Nobody thought that Wilder Fury would even get over 300,000 buys. Nobody believed it. Nobody thought it would get over 200,000. Let's be real. Because if you look at between the two,
even Canelo doesn't get 1 million buys anymore.
Well,
he didn't rather. The last one with Golovkin was like 750 or something.
Nah, it was 900.
It was over $1 million. It was over $1 million.
Was it over? Actually, it was
okay, well, if it was over $1 million buys, it wasn't by much.
It was over.
It's still $1 million.
Yeah, I mean,
1.2 is $1 million.
Hold up, guys.
More people could have watched it, but EJ let 100 people stream.
Hold up, guys. Hold up. The first fight did 1.5 million, and the second fight did 1.2. I just want to throw it out there. But let me just say this though: Wilder and Fury were actually unknowns compared to Floyd when he fought McGregor's and the Pacquiao's. They already had a name. Wilder and Fury didn't really have much of a name.
Compare the two.
Yeah, that's a fair point too. That's a fair point too.
Yeah, well, yeah. I just posted. Can I just say? I posted the article. What you see?
I read it. It's got all it is Eddie Hearn.
He's indicating that it says the zone would prefer in America.
Yeah, the zone
still doesn't.
Sorry, Hamid. I understand. I read the article, but what I'm saying is that that's all Eddie Hearn is talking about. What I'm trying to say to you is that on the other side of it, right? In the day, he's meeting with Sky Sports. They're the one who control the broadcasting rights, and they had a great. Listen, you remember again, Showtime and Sky Sports have a great relationship. They have a great relationship, right? Barney Francis and Steven Espinosa. They have a great relationship. As the fights are making, right? They know that if the zone is not in their best interest. It's not. It's not in the best interest of Sky Sports. But the zone, all of a sudden, they're going to come to the UK and say, purchase the zone, you don't need Sky Sports. They can do that. That's what they're trying to do. So they're not going to, I don't understand why Sky would want to push that. The only reason they're doing it is because Eddie Hearn's done it. And you know, Adam Smith doesn't like it either. Sky
he don't like
it. That's real quick. That's what I was getting at when I was asking about Eddie having a conflict. I was just saying that was clarifying. That's what I meant earlier, EJ, about some people wondering whether EJ's got a conflict of interest between his DAZN interests and his Sky Sports interests, because inevitably, DAZN's gonna, well, you know, if they have their way, they want to be able to sell to people in the UK, and of course, there's going to be UK boxing fans going, "Hey, I want to just pay $10."
Let me tell you something. I'll tell you right now. Let me get it. If the zones do not secure the rights, they might as well start packing up, bro. If they can't secure the rights for this fight here, one of the most lucrative fights in boxing, they might have to. They're gonna have to pack up shop or try Triple G versus Canelo.
And that's something I was getting at when I said that's what I was getting at when I said it's, you know, more than it's not. Somewhat of it is a matter of who's got more money, but it's also who's going to be willing to spend more money. DAZN might be like you're saying. They might say, hey, "Screw you, Showtime. We're going to just shove all of our chips to the middle of the table too, because they can't afford to miss out on it." You never know.
Yeah, let me just say. So let me read the hold on, battle. Let me read the chat. Let me read the comments you get in after I read this. All right, I'm gonna go to the chat real quickly. The chat says that the big Karate T Body says that pay-per-view ain't going nowhere. He also said that as much shit Hearn talks about pay-per-view, he's still hating on. He's still putting on pay-per-views in the UK, which is a contradiction on Eddie Hearn's part. That is true. And Joe Host from the UK, what's going on, Joe Host? Joe Host says, look, the pay-per-view market definitely ain't leaving the UK either. So you can put on all those streaming platforms as you want to, but people will still be watching it on TV or on Starlight. End of story. So that's true. And Young Merv, the cut man, what's up, Young Merv? Young Merv says that pay-per-view is still 90% of the big fight, so it's not going anywhere. So I don't know why people complaining about it. And Cry T says that Amos can have that fight on the purse bid, and Hearn will have to lose. He will lose if it goes to purse bid, which is true. He will lose. And Young Merv says, look, that whole card, if the rematch does happen, the whole card could be on Fox pay-per-view like Earls did with Mikey Garcia. That's true. And Karate said that Fox would be the better place to have it on pay-per-view rather than Showtime. That's a matter of opinion. Yeah, so the fight is it will be much bigger if it's staged on American broadcasting station rather than the streaming app. That's what
I think I would agree with that, Dan, in the sense of what would be best for boxing as a sport in North America. I believe Fox would, because Fox would for sure get, you know what I mean, get the most casual eyeballs.
Oh yeah, they do, because they have a bigger casual audience than Showtime does. Let's be real.
Oh yeah, and just the fact of just not obviously it's never ever going to be on free TV. But if they did have it on free TV, that would get way more attention. Obviously.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of things. With
this is the death of the zone. It's the death of the
zone. He's on it.
They're gonna increase that. The YG was saying it's cheaper now. But what's going to naturally happen? Each year they're going to increase their price until eventually you're paying $50 or $60 anyway per month, right? That's what they're going to do. Don't listen to them, right? But with at least with these pay-per-views, you can pay one-off, and you don't have to pay for the rest of the month. These are what these people are trying to do. So you can't believe these people. Why are these being suckered?
EJ. So hang on. Are you telling me, EJ? Hang on. Now, obviously, Sky Sports isn't going to just let this happen. But let's play the hypothetical. If the Zone rolls up into the UK offering you the same fights for $10 a month, are you telling me you're not going to go do that instead of paying Sky Sports whatever the heck it is you're paying them?
You're right. You're right. But this is the thing about it, right? This is the thing, right? Because I know what they're trying to do because I tried to access their stuff when it was happening, and I realized I got blocked and because they live stream the way they live streaming. What they've done is that they're just trying to be smart. We live stream things anyway, right? Free. So what they're trying to do is that you can live stream, and now you're gonna have to pay for your live streaming. And I'm saying, nah, you ain't. That's not worth it. That's not worth it.
See the way I look at now, that's fair. That's fair. The way. Let me explain. Let me break real quick down. I'll explain to EJ my logic.
Hold on, Mr. Doc. Hold up, guys. Hold up. That Battle been wanting to get in, man, because we have kind of.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Battle, get in, bro. You want to say something? Get in, man.
It was like a couple of things I wanted to say. Like first, give me just 1 second. I'll be right back.
All right, man.
Harold, hang on. Let me reply to you. Let me reply. He left us hanging like that. Let me reply.
I just had to get to a better location.
Okay.
So it was a couple of things. I was trying to say that first, YG asked, it was like, why was we interested in these type of talks about how much money they're putting up? I like, well, because of the heavyweight division, bro. I just got to put that out there. But when it comes to the fight, it is a good chance. EJ makes a point when he says that the fight could be better for or as far as like Fox and Showtime, with the Andy Ruiz and the Joshua remix. But it's a good chance that it wouldn't be surprising if it's back in the Zone, because I just believe Eddie Hearn is just that stubborn, just not let it on Showtime or Fox when it comes to that type of fight.
Just read. It says nowhere does it say that rematch will go anywhere but the Zone. The only thing it says is the location.
Okay, what I'm trying to say,
it's a good chance, like Dan said earlier. Dan,
it's most likely. It says that it's most likely.
Well, it's most likely. Well, that's the thing. It's most likely doesn't mean it's definite though. There's a good chance.
None of us knows what the contract says.
Yeah, but this is what it says. But why are the Zone? Why are the Zone the ones who are, what's it called, having a say in where the location should be?
They can say now, but the problem is we don't know what's going on in negotiations, because that article you sent me is a good article. I'm not disputing it, but the answer that was given in that article saying that the Zone more likely means it's not definite, which means that another network could come in and bid for
it. And like EJ said earlier he brought up the Nigel Ben Eubank rematch. Don King, I mean, how often do you see Don King outmaneuvered? There's always technicalities and loopholes. And in that case, it was the fact that the fight ended up a draw. And if I remember right, EJ, you may have educated me on something. I always thought Don, what it was Don had it was either going to be Michael Nunn or I can't remember, James Toney. You're gonna get one of them
next. Yeah, Michael Nunn.
Yeah. And he was trying to, and if it wasn't going to be him, it was going to be James Toney. But and the only way out of it for Hearn was the draw.
Yes, that's what
Don was pissed. Don tried to crack
the Zone's pissed, because see Joshua and Eddie Hearn, because Sky Sports has a deal with Joshua, right? Is exclusive to Sky Sports and is exclusive to Eddie Hearn. Sky Sports don't want Joshua, so they said, okay, we're just going to do a fight by fight. Make the Zone pay $40 million. Now, for the Zone to get Joshua back on the networks, they're going to have to pay. But then Showtime's going to say, whoa, listen this, you can have a percentage of the profits. That's what Eddie Hearn saw the next day in New York. He had this big grin on his face, and he was also saying, because money was coming back in. He was like, yo, I'm making more money this time because Joshua, we won it. We're actually in a better position. We've been on Showtime already, but this time we're gonna be thinking, and also the possibility of fighting Wilder next, bro. So what you do, so Showtime say to you, Showtime Al Heyman say, okay, the winner of this automatically fights Wilder next.
Yeah, they can negotiate that.
Wilder doesn't get against the other guy. See, Wilder said he's fighting Thingy next, and blah. No, they scrap that, bro. Scrap it. Straight away get one because they realize. That marinating process is not going to work.
But all they see is Sky wanting the UK and the Zone one in America. That's the only thing that.
What
Showtime. That's what Showtime is gonna promise AJ straight away. They say, listen,
Yeah, you putting too much emphasis on
beat
Showtime.
Ruiz, and we beat Ruiz, we get the undisputed. Let's make it now because they realize we can't wait this. We can't make this wait. Eddie Hearn realized we can't make wait. Joshua's gonna lose to someone else anyway. We're gonna fight this Ruiz straight after. Ruiz can get a match after, but after AJ beats Ruiz. Straight away, we're gonna make the Wilder fight. Tell Wilder to fucking. That's why Wilder's come out and be
Showtime
cool.
haven't said it. You're just alluding to stuff. Look, it says the zone one in America, Sky one in the UK, and we know Sky have got a contract.
This makes sense though. It makes sense though. The zone's the outsider here. It is. This is the way it is. They're the outsiders, bro. Sky Sports and Showtime they've been working together for years, man.
He's got a contract with Sky,
and they're trying to take over Sky's market. They're trying to take
and he's
over.
got a 5x5 basis with DAZN, but his last 2 fights were on DAZN. That's my point.
Yeah, but against who though? Who's AJ's last fight?
Povetkin and Ruiz. He left Showtime. Do you remember the way he left Showtime?
Yeah, bro, no
Steven Espinosa.
Are you saying that when he was coming to America, there was never any plan for Joshua to stray besides his own?
No, my point is with Showtime, they don't have a good relationship. That's one of the main reasons the Wilder Joshua fight didn't happen. Espinosa and Hearn don't like each other now. I don't know. Maybe this has changed the plan down the line. Wilder and Joshua might happen because they've seen what can happen. But I just think what indicates in the article and what I've read is that the zone have got a big say in the rematch, and Sky obviously have got the rights for the rematch because they've got a long-term contract with Joshua and Matchroom.
Well, fair enough. But again, that comment more likely doesn't mean it's definite. So there's a chance it won't be on the zone based off that comment. So that's not definite right there.
Yeah, but it's not definite. Joshua turns up for the rematch. He could pass out in the next fight. Like that.
Yeah, he could pass out, or if the rematch does happen, it could go to another network. So that's a possibility based off how the negotiations turn out. That's the whole point EJ was trying to make. That's the whole point he was doing. He's not saying that it will never be on the zone. The whole point is that networks can bid for it, given the fact that Joshua was on a fight-by-fight basis.
Yo, Ahmed. Yo, Ahmed, why you want it to be on the zone so bad, man?
No, I'm just trying to figure out where this, because I thought that was what I've read and what other people have said, that they've already got a deal in place. That's why.
Okay. All right. I thought you were getting some type of kickback bonus or some shit.
If the zone was in the UK, then I would have obviously.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Hold on, Mr. Doctor. That's the whole point. A lot of people are saying that it's locked in. I was like, how do we know that? First of all, it just makes no sense that how Joshua and the team can still dictate the terms after they lost the fight. I just don't understand that. They can't do that. They can dictate some of the terms, but they can't dictate all the terms like they did in the first fight. They can't do it.
The location is the one main thing that they haven't dictated. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a strong possibility. It says that the zone have got to say.
It wouldn't be surprising. But I'll tell you why I want it to be on the zone, because I'm a cheap bastard.
Yeah,
that's all there is to it.
No, but there's cheaper ways than that. There's other cheaper ways. There's ways that's even cheaper.
Of course,
yeah. Steve will know. Steve will know the cheapest way.
Right. You know,
guys,
I'll bootleg that shit. Yeah, but now seriously though, no. My whole thing is this. I just wanted to ask this one question before y'all go, man. The shit that happened last weekend, right? Ruiz defeating AJ in the fashion in which that he defeated him, dropping him 4 times, completely dominating him.
Yeah.
So showing to be the superior boxer. Like this crazy victory, this upset, was this a positive thing for boxing or was it negative? Like which one was it really?
It's both. It's both in a way. From a positive standpoint, it just goes to show that this is a lesson to be learned for all the promoters and managers out there. You cannot allow a big fight to marinate at a prolonging like what happened with Pacquiao Mayweather. It's that day and age is gone. You can't do that anymore, especially in the heavyweight division. You can't do that because what happens is when you hold up, battle real quickly. When you do that, then a lot of fans are going to lose a lot of luster for the fight. That's what happens. Number one, and number two, from a positive standpoint, it benefited Andy Ruiz to a degree because now, with Andy Ruiz becoming the first Mexican heavyweight champion of the world, it's brought one of the biggest boxing fan electric in the world, the Mexican fan base. Now they'll be drawn to the heavyweight division now. They're going to just forget about the little guys now.
For North America, definitely a positive. For North America, definitely
in North America. Yeah, exactly, Mr. Doc. So now all the little guys are going to be left out. You're going to be left to dust. Now they're going to have to work hard to grab the attention away from the heavyweight division. So it's positive and negative, mainly for Andy Ruiz and the Mexican fan base.
I've got a small point there. I don't know if I'd even call it debate with you, but I'll say this. Wouldn't you agree that historically, at least with the heavyweight division specifically, it's a case of, a rising tide raises all boats? Because I think the little guys, I think in the long term it could benefit the little guys, because when they make the most money, it's actually, historically on the undercards of the big heavyweight cards, like Chavez on the Mike Tyson cards.
That's true. That could happen. They're going to be forced to be faking. They'll be forced to be making the big fights with each other rather than trying to prolong it with the Mayweather Pacquiao days when they were able to do that. And the reason why they were able to do that because they were able to move between weights. In the heavyweight division, you can't do that. You cannot move in between weights. So
the people when it came to the heavyweight fight, the people didn't seem all interested in the small fights I've seen the last few papers.
No, but when Mike Tyson was raking in the millions, right? You got to understand, regardless of how many people are literally paying attention to the TV, that doesn't matter. What matters is the more people that buy the Mike Tyson pay-per-views, the more Chavez got paid.
Yeah, but I think another thing with this fight, look, I was having a debate on the UGC the other day. They were saying Joshua Wilder could become a bigger fight. But look, Mayweather Pacquiao, one sec. Mayweather Pacquiao did over 4 million in 2015. But was it really a better fight? Maybe bigger, but we don't know. Look, Joshua Wilder could become a bigger fight in terms of money, business-wise, but I don't know if that's the case.
I don't see
Tyson Lewis.
I don't think the American market's going to let itself get played like that again.
No,
they
won't.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's another point.
Do you know how fucking boring? Do you know how boring?
Mayweather versus Pacquiao happened literally a year or two. I mean, Mayweather versus McGregor happened literally a year or two after Mayweather versus Pacquiao. You know how mad people was with that.
That was UFC.
The American market is not going to be conned out of $100 per fight again. That's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
The McGregor thing is, to me, an exception because that was a spectacle.
Yeah,
that was a casual, more.
It was a freak show.
People.
It happened literally.
But
think about it. It happened literally a year afterwards.
Yeah, true. But
we're talking about two different markets.
I just asked that question, man. I asked that question because I really wanted to know. I just basically want to know, how did y'all take it? Were y'all happy with the outcome? Because to me, it seemed like we've been pushing for the Wilder AJ fight for years.
2 years. 2 years. 2 years.
2 years. Right. So it felt like that was a major wrench.
Well, and here's the other thing. When it ends up getting dragged out that long, there comes a point where almost no matter what, it's not going to live up to the hype.
Anticlimactic, right?
But here's the thing: now that AJ's lost, there's no more. There's little. I mean, the interest has declined for that fight. I'm not saying it's not there, but it has. That's a fact.
Yeah,
you could argue that just based on the strength of the Hispanic fan base, you could argue Ortiz might be a bigger deal.
Oh yeah, Ortiz versus Ruiz, that'd be a damn big heavyweight fight.
And all Hispanic, just in terms of the number of eyeballs you'd be able to attract to North America, like I said.
Okay, well, how about this scenario right here? What about this scenario right here? What about this scenario right here, Dan? Check it out. And check this out, Battle, EJ, everyone. Check out the scenario. What if they do the rematch and AJ just washes him, just runs through him, and AJ just runs through him like he was supposed to? Okay, are we kind of gonna look past his loss? Are we gonna?
I'd like to see AJ have another fight.
He's got to at least have another fight before we even talk about him getting there against Wilder, because can't.
So him just beating the rematch, that's still not good enough. Right?
It's not enough. Look,
here's the thing. It's never going to be viewed as people are going to say, most people are probably going to still favor Wilder at that point, but I do think
it'll never be the same.
It'll never be the same. I do think American boxing fans will forgive AJ if he's able to redeem himself, because I think in America we're kind of big on that, anyways. We're going to shit on you until you do it, but if you redeem yourself, all is usually forgiven.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, guys, I got to shut this down. It really great for you guys to come on, man. Shout out to you guys on the panel, EJ, Battle, and YG was here for a minute. Doc, as always. Hamed, as always. EJ, as always, too, man. All you guys, I really appreciate you guys for coming on, all right? Appreciate it.
For sure, man.
No problem. So, rest of you guys in the chat.
Peace, bro. Peace, man.
Peace, man. All you guys in the chat, the Texan, the Young Merv, the Cut Man, Kurt Sugar, and the Boxing Man. Shout out to you, brother, and Joe Host from the UK. All you guys are texting. D-Style was in here for a minute ago. Shout out to you, man. But we'll do that wrestling video another day. But other than that, guys, we're out. Peace.